Just relax. We're on a bus.
Medicine.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
That's what they say in Hong Kong, by the way.
And Jay Thomas.
Hey, the Jay Thomas Show, of course, at Howard 101. Shuli is here. They had close to a foot of snow or something last night in New York.
Yeah, it was nasty. We got out of here.
I had to, this morning, in California, had to battle my way through the moonlight to get here. Yeah,
How did you do it?
I don't know.
I want to punch you in the face right now.
I lived in New York for a long time, and I came back about 8 or 9 years ago. I got a big job there in New York, and came back and had a TV show and a radio show. And we come back and we moved to Connecticut and all. And I figured I'd be there the rest of my life. And in August, I would sit in the backyard and go, God, it's going to be cold soon. You know, you don't want to live out here too long. It's bad, Julie. It's really bad. You'll never go back. It'll make you want to just work at a hotel. Mm-hmm. People in California they'll work anywhere, you know. How about Hawaii? You ever been to Hawaii? See those idiots?
Yeah.
They can barely talk. People can barely, they can't carry on a conversation, but it's the weather and you know, Hawaii has the, longest, I don't know if you know this, you live the longest in Hawaii, and they have the least amount of medical problems in Hawaii, because you just sit around and after you learn how to make your little finger and your thumb go and you shake it back and forth, like that. What is that thing when you that's
the hang loose?
Mahalo, that's it. There's Madison there.
I remember seeing a little movie called North Shore where they used to do that quite a bit. And they go, "Get out the water, Howley." That's what they call tourists out there, non-Hawaiians. Howley.
I remember people used to go to the University of Hawaii and come back dumber than when they went to college.
But a nice tan.
Yeah.
I went to the University of Miami. That was a great place to matriculate.
Miami's another exciting place to go to college. And of course, now you're living back, and both of you are with, Madison's with child, Shuli. Your wife
I don't think I've ever been more miserable in my life.
Well, give it time. It's only 7.
Yeah. Yeah, we've just started.
I mean,
now, how many months pregnant are you?
I stepped out of the house today and into just a pile of snow.
With a big stomach.
Now, my foot is wet.
And a big stomach.
Some homeless man downstairs just said, "Are you having a boy or a girl?"
I'll dry your foot for you.
And I'm wearing a coat, so I didn't think it was apparent.
And then the homeless guy goes, "It's 33 degrees outside."
It was Ira.
Yeah.
Now, Madison, when you flew and went on vacation,
I was okay. I was still at the end of the
but when you go through that detector thing,
yeah, I'm small. I'm carrying very small.
No, but it X-rays the baby too.
Great. No, it doesn't.
It has to. It X-rays everything.
You're such a know-it-all.
It sees it all.
Well, wait a minute. Unless you are carrying something fake under your coat, the X-ray machine at the airport X-rays through your body.
Well, so that's that.
That doesn't worry you at all?
What do you want from me?
The kid could have been zapped with some sort of...
The kid's been zapped with Ambien. The kid's been zapped with coffee.
Everything.
Sat in the casinos with the smoke.
You did with the kid?
I didn't smoke, but,
people did. Of course they did. Yeah.
Come on.
How far along are you?
When we were all being
30 weeks on Monday.
When we were all being carried, I think my mother, she drank a bottle of beer every day.
My mother smoked a few cigs here and there.
Yeah, my mother smoked too, drank a bottle of beer. We're fine. We're totally fine. Aren't we? We're all right.
They're like, don't do this, don't do that, don't get your hair colored, don't eat sushi.
No.
Why not?
Wine.
No.
Some sushi guy came up to me at the mall last week, and he's like, "Oh, sushi?" And I just patted my stomach.
There's a group of individuals, and it's called Life Stories, and they get teenagers and young people, and they send them out to where people are going to die, like at a hospice or something.
Uh-huh.
And they've video them. What do you call it? You call it video. They video them, right? They record them.
Well, sounds like a real knee slapper of a show.
Well, this woman contacts, it's called Life Chronicles. She contacts me all the time. And she sees me every now and again someplace.
Does she think you're dying?
What does she
No,
want
she
you to
wants
do?
me to get my kids to do it. So I went home and I
But
said,
I don't understand. You're not dying.
No. She wants my kids to become involved in going to where the people are dying.
Right.
And you talk to the people.
Those
and
kids don't care who Jay Thomas's son is.
No, it's not about that. It's just anybody who has kids. She thinks it's a good experience.
Oh.
Well, it would be for your kids because your kids got a pretty good life and they're
Yeah,
pretty
they have a
happy
great life.
and they need to be brought down to earth a little bit.
Dear Jay, saw you in the gym today. No, we talked about it before, but I think you'd want to hear my interview on the BBC where I talked about how wonderful it is when some of the kids interviewed the husband of a young woman that was dying 2 years ago, just a week before she died. You'd think it was sad, but when you hear what it means to the husband and his look, lady, I don't know if you're listening or not. My kids don't want to talk to people that are about to die. And if I'm about to die, I don't want to leave any message to anybody. I don't have any interest in the messages about.
You're
What do
so
you?
full.
If someone called you and you were about to die, would you grant an interview? Would you say, yeah?
I
that's
don't know. I haven't been in that position. I might.
Well, I love the sound
Really?
of my voice, so I would definitely do that. And I think you're a bit of a pussy. That's
I
just-
would like to
your
scare the
Your
kids.
kids are a little soft,
Why
I
don't
think.
you help out?
I'd like to
Have
scare
your
the kids.
do it.
I'd like to
Okay.
go. You ready? I'd like to go like this. You think life's all sugar and roses, huh, kids? Like that. I'd do one of those, huh?
If I was there,
Well, I
I'd
got
go,
a tumor in me as big as your head.
I would look at him and I'd go, thank you so much for coming to help a dying man. By the way, it's contagious.
Spit on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some. I just went through a week or 10 days of documentaries. At the Santa Barbara Film Festival, I was the documentary judge. And there's horrible, horrible stuff happening. But there's more, I think, pleasant stuff happening. Why is it a documentary? They never have any pleasant documentaries, about, I don't know what. I guess they'd be boring, right? If you just had,
How about a documentary on rainbows? Well, I mean, really,
There
what's
you
wrong with that?
I don't know.
Unicorns.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Little kids playing in a puddle,
A documentary on that?
Welcome to the
Little
Puddle documentary.
Little kids playing in a puddle. That's what you'd need. But no, I don't want to. And my kids, they don't want to interview anybody. They don't want to. Someone. Where you go, and it always and the smell of death and the machine that's keeping you alive and all that stuff. I don't want all that smell.
Well, when I used to work at this summer camp as a camp counselor, they asked us one week. They go, "Listen, this Monday, I'm gonna need you to get up like around 6:30, and I need you to take the kids down to this rest home. You're going to be putting on they're going to do a show for Alzheimer's patients." And I was like, well, can't we just tell them we did it? Do I really have to get up?
That's not nice.
Well, it's not
No, you're
nice,
right
but it's
about-
accurate.
No, and it is accurate because now a friend of mine did this for 5 years.
Yeah.
The mother-in-law had Alzheimer's. And for some reason, the wife would say to him, now, take mama. And, of course, the wife was really wealthy, and the grandma had all the money. So my buddy was living off of them. And they're still together. The woman's dead. Take mom to get a movie. She did it like every week. So he bought one movie.
And just showed
He
it.
showed it to her every week
I
for
think
5 years.
animals are very therapeutic for the Alzheimer's people.
You know what the movie
They break
was?
them down.
Parenthood.
Parenthood?
I think he showed her Parenthood
79,000 times.
over and over, and he would say to her, "Mom, have you seen Parenthood?" No.
Why?
Okay, let's get it on.
Why did he have to shout?
So
I don't know. You always shout at the old.
And
I don't know why.
foreigners shout at the old and Asians.
Where is the bus?
So now his mom
Congrats on winning the gold medal, Kim Yuna.
so not only does his mom have Alzheimer's, but she thinks she has a severe case of deja vu all day long.
Can we talk about Shuli's baby registry a little bit later? I have a list
Yeah.
of things on there that are probably not for the baby. I think they might just be for Shuli.
Hey, get in where you
things
fit
on
in,
there,
man.
some things
Nothing
on
wrong with
there
that.
Please get the list out.
Oh,
of Shuli's
I've
baby
got that
registry.
list.
You mean the baby doesn't need a 4-foot glass bong?
Not yet. But I mean, isn't having a kid?
That's the one that I bought for him.
Well,
Isn't
you know
having a
what you
kid
did?
about handing down stuff from
Thanks for
generation?
ruining the bit, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin.
No. You know what? If you were going to say bong, that was so obvious. You shouldn't have even started
Bong wasn't even on my list.
it. Actually, Shuli has been very, I think, kind of sneaky and interesting. It wasn't a bong. I saw a hookah. I got you a hookah.
Well,
The-
I'm
the
gonna
water pipe.
get my list out and.
Can you smoke dope out of a hookah? Yes, you can.
Sure, you can.
I had a hookah, but the thing was made out of rope, so you could not. It wouldn't go. I think it was just for show.
Highly flammable. Yes,
Yeah.
you can use a hookah. Been
Hookah,
there,
sure.
done that.
Mara Altman, her new book is called Thanks for Coming. And it's her quest for an orgasm.
Oh, it's
Garrett,
not that hard.
was she
That's what she said.
was she unable to have an orgasm? Is that the deal, or she screwed a lot of guys and there was never an orgasm? What was the deal?
She had sex when she was 17, but didn't have an orgasm until later on. And
Maybe it's because her vagina's like the Holland Tunnel right now, and she can't feel anything.
What is that when they can't? The only time that ever happened to me is I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and a woman I was going out with said that her roommate had never had an orgasm. And so I guess we all got loaded or whatever, and we all did everything we could.
Maybe they just don't know what an orgasm is or what it feels like.
She and I tried
Possible?
everything to the point where it stopped being sexual.
Maybe she had one and she just didn't know.
It became clinical after a while.
No, and after a while, I mean, it's almost like the joke. Oh, is it come yet? You tried everything. Equipment.
I take it you were licking.
I did it all. I did it all.
Try putting your hands up like a roller coaster.
I did everything. We did it all.
Vibrator?
And I'll have to tell you, if I dated somebody or was thinking about marrying someone and you had to go through all of that for them to be satisfied, I think that more than anything else would really make me, because, worry about getting married, because obviously after you get married, as everybody now knows who's been married, it isn't really about sex. But if the orgasm was difficult when you were excited about your relationship, God forbid if the little, whatever that little tube is, that little thing, the clit thing down there, whatever that is.
The clit?
I also dated a woman in France on vacation, and she couldn't have an orgasm, but when she said it, it was cute. She'd go, I can't have an orgasm.
A French woman couldn't have an orgasm?
Could not have an orgasm.
I thought they just walked down the street and came. Those
Maybe
French
they
people.
couldn't
Very
find-
sexy.
Maybe they couldn't find their vagina through all that hairy bush.
You know what? I've always thought that maybe there was a layer of insulation that stopped it.
Yeah,
I
like
really
some
do.
fire retardant,
Exactly. Right.
layer.
Then I would go like this. Come yet? Let's go to Mark of Pennsylvania. Thank you. 888-888-STERN-101, or go to jthomas.com where you'll find out all about who I am. And for those of you who sometimes don't listen to the Jay Thomas Show in the afternoon, an unfortunate thing happened on yesterday's show. It'll be rerun today at 3 o'clock Eastern, and it probably reran last night, and it may even be Kevin Bacon came on the show. Very nice man.
What?
Kevin Bacon.
Yesterday?
Yesterday came on my show. Very nice man.
Oh, man.
And he was promoting his charity. He's going to $20 million or a charity or whatever. And he had lost money to Bernie Madoff.
Right.
And I was trying to make the interview exciting because generally, and I've seen him interviewed quite a bit, he's a nice fellow, but he's what I call earnest. He's not... He doesn't just, get down and dirty in the interview. So I brought up the movie Sleepers, which was one of my favorite movies, where he plays an anal raping, a guard and gets, killed later, and there's a trial and everything else. And I don't know what it was, but I was trying to make it exciting, so I brought that up. I don't know. He was okay with that. Then I mentioned Bernie Madoff, and I said, it goes without saying that you lost money to Bernie Madoff like that. Dead silence.
Really? He didn't expect you would ask
and
that?
then after a little while, like 20 or 30 seconds, he goes, I don't want to talk about it like that. So I tried to make it better. by saying,
You don't realize by now when you try to make things better, they never get better?
no, they don't get better for some reason. I was shocked.
But God bless you for trying.
I said, listen, I've lost money. Of course, you always try and tell. Now, whatever I lost was probably 20 times less than he lost.
I picture Jay saying a smart ass, I lost $40 the other day. I
Right.
put my pants in the washer and now it's gone.
Guy took almost $1,000 from me one time on a fake, investment, or something. So it turned out badly, and I'm so embarrassed. What I don't know is, do I apologize to him? Do I send him a note? Because, of course, on some level it was interesting, but on another level it was probably not what he wanted to happen. And I'm sure if my name was ever mentioned as an actor in his presence or some project, that I would be no chance, whatsoever.
Well, how did it end?
Not well.
Really?
No, he hung up, and he hung up
Jay.
Yes, he hung up in the middle of a sentence.
Is it true, Garrett?
So true.
It was bad. Then he brought up his wife, Rodney Lee Conover was
Kira Sedgwick. Did you at least compliment her?
Well, Rodney did. He began complimenting her, what a great actress she was, to try and help
What
me
beautiful
out.
skin.
All of it. He said it all. And then they'd been married for so long, and Rodney said something like, well, it must be incredible. What's it like? Your wife works 16-hour days, and you're all gone. And how do you keep something about that? And he says, "Oh, I'm so proud of my wife, and it's so wonderful." So I said,
So
well, "What about me?"
She didn't rip you off like Madoff, did she?
So I said, "Well, what about me? My wife lays around the house on her big fat ass all day doing nothing."
Right.
So instead of laughing, he goes, "Well, there could be some good in that too," like that. And it was just all bad. It was all bad. And I asked him if he did coke with John Belushi during Animal House.
He was, how old was
obviously
he
I was-
during Animal
Yeah, he was
House?
little.
He was a youngster.
I was trying
Like
to be
3.
I was trying to be, provocative. There's no doubt. But the attempt was awful.
So that's that.
I had to take my headphones off 3 times
And leave the room.
I just wanted to get away. It was so uncomfortable with the silence.
Well, you know what? He
There's a
should
lot
have
of
had a
silence.
sense of humor.
Well, Jay scratched off his opening line, which was, talk to me about that Pussy Fest Footloose you filmed back in the day.
He was asking him how it was to be a butt fucker, and it was
I was
What?
awful. I know. I was so
pedophile and a butt fucker.
Now, let me tell you what
when was
happened.
he accused of being a pedophile?
No, in a movie. He played pedophiles and all that. You know what? Last night I got deathly ill, and I think it had nothing to do with whatever I was doing in the afternoon to cause it. I had a cocktail. I had some other imbibements, and then I smoked a cigar, and the next thing you know, I start throwing up and get violently ill. I believe that I got so upset.
Maybe.
My wife said, "You probably just got drunk at the golf course." She said that in front of my son. I went, "What are you, crazy?" And I didn't want to say what I did.
All right, this is what you're going to do.
I had a bad day at work. That's what I said.
You're going
She
to
says,
write a really nice note to him.
I will.
Do
I will
it.
write
Just
a nice
do
note.
it. Do it.
I will write a nice note to
And
him.
he'll really be touched by that.
I don't think he'll
come
be
back
touched.
on your show.
I don't think.
I know, I do. I think people really don't do an email. Can you find his address?
Who writes
You mean a
anymore?
personal
It's
letter
nice.
written
does
on?
Yes.
that anymore? That's
Please
creepy.
do it.
Only
Write
prisoners
a personal
actually
letter,
write
not an
letters now.
email. An email is impersonal.
Only people on death row write letters now.
No, that's not true.
About 20 years ago, I bought some stationery, and I
Okay.
still have about 6,000
Does it
pieces
say
of
your
it.
name on it?
It
in
says J. Thomas.
Beautiful
on the top.
cursive.
It does.
That's it. Spray a little Irish Spring, or no, that's a soap. Spray a little English leather on there. Wave it around. Have a nice scent. Write the letter.
He doesn't want to fuck him. He just wants to apologize.
Listen.
How about this? I put
Every
a picture,
time Kevin Bacon smells English leather from now on,
He'll think of
he'll
me.
think of Jay Thomas. He'll think, you know what?
I'm going to put a
Putz
picture
wrote
of
me a thank
a
you note.
big fat woman in there and go, "Hey, Kevin, this is my wife watching your wife on TV." I'll
Stop
put that
it.
in there.
No, don't make it worse.
I won't.
I
Let's go to my good friend Phineas of Arkansas. Phineas, you heard the classic interview yesterday.
Yes,
I got
douche
violently
chills
ill.
for days.
I really did. No, I'm not joking. I really got sick. I woke up 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night, threw up, and I mean it. I was so upset by my behavior yesterday.
Hey, you talk about douche chills, man. I had them all day just thinking about you. But, you know, whenever you get a caller you don't like or anything like that, you ought to pull that clip of Kevin Bacon hanging up on you and just play that. Because it was violent, brother.
Did a lot of people call up afterward?
Oh, they were calling during it, and what was happening is I wasn't putting them on the air, but people were saying, you always wimp out when you get a star. Why don't you ask him about Bernie Madoff? But I could hear them saying it, but I didn't want to ask it. Mm-hmm. And it drove me to ask that question. I don't know what his answer could have been.
But why wouldn't you ask that question? You think Letterman's going to ask him that question? No. Leno?
Well,
no.
There was no warning.
Hey, so you lost a lot of money.
He could have laughed and he could have said, you know what, Jay, I don't want to talk about it.
So, I mean, the paper that an evil Jew took a lot of your money. Talk to me a little bit about that.
There was no warning not to ask him, and so it was just part of the notes, and I waited till the middle of the thing. Now, here's the worst part. I was making a joke, and he had a big charity. I said, let's start the interview with your shameless plug, and then we'll talk about stuff we're interested in.
And he didn't like that?
But I was kidding.
Yeah.
You know the problem?
Did he laugh
He doesn't have a sense of humor. He doesn't have a sense of humor. No.
You wanted something
He doesn't
else?
look like he ever had a sense of humor.
He has no idea.
He did an episode of Will and Grace, and he had a sense of humor for that, but that was about it.
He didn't seem,
You know what?
Phineas, he didn't seem to really know who I was, which is what I'm saying that in a good way. He didn't
you
seem
tried.
Yeah.
You tried to do the 6 degrees thing right there at the beginning of the interview, and you know.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's probably tired of that, but
no, he named his charity 6 degrees something or other.
Yeah, but you tried to make yourself part of that. But listen here, I'm warming my hands up. I'm warming my hands up right now and fixing to go milk the cows. When I've got your show on, they give a lot more milk.
Right.
You know that?
Listen,
Arkansas.
I'm already squirting milk.
Thank you.
Oh, well, goodness gracious there, Madison.
Well,
come on
Phineas,
down and
hey, wait a minute. You know what? I'm glad you called because I know a story about is it your brother? Who's the milk lover in your family?
It's my brother. You want me to tell that story one more time?
Tell Madison, Phineas is a pal of mine, Madison, from Arkansas. And
I want to play golf with you one of these days, Jake.
Okay, we'll do it. But
Okay,
your
great.
brother loves breast milk, but I think you have 2 breast milk stories, don't you?
I do. But Madison, my brother,
A left one and a right one.
No, here we go.
He's 2 years younger than me, and his firstborn child was born on my 40th birthday, and his second one was born 5 years later. And we were all out drinking on the deck one night, and we were talking about his wife, her milk coming in for the second baby. She said, well, I never dried up after the first one.
Oh.
And we were going, well, why the hell not? Well, your brother, he likes to play around with the milk and drink it. And when they're having sex, he likes to get squirted on. And it was 5 years. 5 years between babies, and she never dried up one time.
Wow.
Now, I called a doctor buddy of mine yesterday, and he said the only way that is possible is if on a daily basis she was suckled or kept the milk going.
Obviously, she was suckled.
That the body is made to dry up eventually, Phineas. So
well,
that
I told you
for
about my
5
cousin.
years. No, it means for 5 years.
You can go probably for about 2 legitimately, because I know my therapist's wife still breastfeeds. That baby's like 3.
Your brother was manipulating it, and she had to be a part of it also, making sure that the milk was being, pulled out of her so that the body thought she was still, suckling.
Well, I can tell you, Madison's very potent with the milk because I'm wearing goggles like Mr. Wizard over here to just protect my eyes.
Yeah.
She just let it slip. I mean, it wasn't something like we were all talking about it. It just like she just kind of said it offhandedly and then was going to go on about it. And we all went, no, we got to hear about this. We got to hear this.
But was it with like an Arkansas accent, like, my milk done never dried up?
What you doing tonight? Shooting milk in my husband's mouth like a balloon game at a carnival?
So she gets on top of him and sprays the milk on him.
Open your mouth.
That's exciting to hear about it.
Squirt.
but I didn't know that you could.
Sexual situation.
Do you know what they do? How they do?
There's got to be a porn on with that, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Whoa, listen to this.
Lactating ladies.
Hey, Jay, listen to this. So my buddy Bob in Chicago just sends me a text. He came into the city once and he sat in on Miserable Men with us. He says, he got held up in Penn Station on his way back, and questioned by the police about stealing Kevin Bacon's phone and wallet at gunpoint. The cops were asking him about that.
In real life?
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta give Garrett his number. We gotta call him.
That didn't happen to poor Kevin yesterday, did it? Because it would have been a very bad day for him.
Well, Eric on my fan page writes a little promo for you. Bernie Madoff, buttfuck stories, and Kevin Bacon's silence on the Jay Thomas Show.
All right. Phineas, what's your other breastfeeding story? Did you tell me two yesterday or just one?
No, there were two. My dad had a cousin. My grandparents had
That's never a good start.
A bunch of kids, but this cousin of my dad's was my age, and we'd met her for the first time. We went down to Alabama, and she had a 5-year-old and a baby, and we were at my aunt's house, and she fixed mashed potatoes and roast beef and carrots and the whole bit. And this 5-year-old boy, he's sitting there eating his mashed potatoes and roast beef and everything like that. And when he got done eating, he went over to his mom and lifted up her shirt and started breastfeeding.
Oh, come on.
He washed down the roast beef and mashed potatoes with his mother's milk
You
at
should
5.
never drink milk with meat in the first place.
That's not kosher. You're right.
The Jews.
Disgusting.
Well, I tell you what, he was a big old boy, too, like I said, and he had a little brother, and she just acted like it was part of, just daily routine.
Once they have teeth. Ooh.
Travis, your beard is itching my tit.
Of course, my brother got a hard-on when that happened, and we all had to leave.
And then another baby was made.
Who's what's his name that does you're a redneck if?
Jeff Foxworthy.
Oh.
Yeah, Jeff Foxworthy should put, of course he's, even, cleaner than Kevin Bacon, but he ought to have one. You're a redneck if, when you're 5 and you wash down your mashed potatoes and roast beef with your mother's own milk. All right.
Oh.
But listen, folks, I got to go.
Phineas, does that bother you? Phineas.
Oh, go ahead. What's that?
Does that bother you? You just told me two true stories, I assume. Does it bother you at all that these are relatives of yours?
No, Lord God, in Texas, I got some relatives that, oh, Lord, you'd be ashamed to call enemies. They are horrible.
That's for another time. Thank you so much, Phineas.
You bet. I'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you. Madison, we also said that, I guess were you around the other day? You have to callus your nipples and all that stuff and rub them with sandpaper.
Christina was telling me about that. I don't want to hear about this right now. Come on.
None of that. Right. Shirley, is your wife going to breastfeed?
Yeah, we've already started.
When does the milk come in? I've forgotten. When does it come in?
Some people FedExed it a couple weeks ago. No, she's starting a little bit. A little bit's coming out. I mean, it's not
Good.
like
I think when the baby actually comes out,
right.
That's when it starts.
Right, but right now, I mean, it's happening. It's happening.
You need a machine too.
And then I read about this.
She got it. Robin Quivers got her a beautiful breast pump.
Yeah, those things are fucking expensive.
I'm gonna register. I'm registering just so everybody knows.
Get on it, man.
I'm not allowed to have a shower because I'm a Jew, but I am going to register.
That's such bullshit. Just do it. Who cares?
No,
remember the dinner?
No, and the stuff will be sent to my future sister-in-law's house.
Remember the dinner I bought you and your wife, Shuli?
Yes.
That was for so many different things and included the baby.
No.
Well, thank you, Jay. I really appreciate that.
I keep layering things.
No, you know what? Let me tell you something.
That egg roll, that cheeseburger egg roll was worth it. Okay,
yeah?
That was one of the best things I've ever ate, and thank you for that, Jay.
All right, it's the Jay Thomas Show with Shuli and Madison.
It's a scene. It's wrong. It's a scene. It's wrong.
Here are the thrill seekers.
Oh my God! Shuli, Madison, Jay Thomas.
The Jay Thomas Show.
Howard 101. Give me fire, give me that which I desire.
The Jay Thomas Show, where you can fake an orgasm, but you can't fake laughter.
Good morning, mother effers!
I'd throw that out there. 888-STERN-101. This is a time, Shirley and Madison, where we open the telephones and allow people to speak.
All right.
To people like us,
Very kind
who
of
you normally wouldn't get a chance to speak to, in your normal day. comedians, a talk show host, a disc jockey ladies, the whole thing. Let's go to Peter of Boston. Yes, Peter, the Jay Thomas Show with Shuley and Madison. How are you?
Hi, Jay. How you doing?
Good. What do you do for a living, Peter?
I work as an accountant. But there was a period of time that I worked as a trainer for a training organization. This was about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to do follow-up after the trainings, follow-up interviews, one-on-one with people in hotel rooms. And I had a woman...
Wait a minute. Hold it. You were a trainer, and you would train people, and then what's with the hotel room? They were only traveling
what kind
people?
Of training?
We would rent a hotel, large block of hotel rooms, and we would a follow-up interview with each person from the training after the training.
Not physical training, some sort of job training.
No. This was personal training.
Personal
Personal growth, they called it.
Personal growth. And it would be a one-on-one interview with the trainer and the person.
Well, it would be a one-on-one with one of the employees of the company, not necessarily the trainer.
Okay. So you're sitting there and you have a clipboard and you have questions you're asking and you're evaluating how the training went from a month or so before.
Absolutely. And of course trying to push her to sign up for the next training.
I see, of course. Yes.
So I had a woman who had come down from Maine to do the training, and she showed up for her post-training interview with a 5-year-old child.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
And I told her we couldn't possibly do the interview with the 5-year-old, and she said, I had no babysitter. The only way I could come for my interview is to bring him. Don't worry, he'll play with his toys, and he won't bother us. So I said, what other choice do we have?
Mm-hmm.
And went in the room, and sure enough, he played with his toys and didn't bother us for about half an hour. Then he started getting a little whiny, and his mother said to me, well, he's hungry. Do you mind if he eats? And I said, oh, no problem. Thinking she's going to reach in her purse and pull out, like, crackers or a peanut butter sandwich or something like that.
Oh,
and,
no.
I mean, this is full sentences, absolutely, crawls up on her lap,
Kindergartner.
lifts her shirt.
This is what he sounded like. He goes, "Hey, Mom, I'm hungry. Give me some tit, yo, broad."
She pulled her boob out, and he suckled her in front of you.
Jay loves that word, suckle.
I must say it has to be a Maine thing because I had never seen that before in my life.
Oh, she's like real hippie, kind of hairy, armpits and whatnot.
That wasn't the weird part. The weird part was while the kid's eating, he's packing a pack of Marlboro Reds on his hand.
Now, Peter, did she put a towel or something over the child's head while it was suckling her teat?
No, she sat there.
No bullshit. She doesn't pull her tit out.
Some women do.
And the interview was over. I'm just sitting there stunned. What could I do?
Was she European? I see a lot of European women. What is it, the breast? What is the big deal? You don't see that?
I know one thing.
It's a big deal here, and people will sue. But, frankly, I'm no feminist. I don't need to see the tit. Cover it up.
I agree.
I know something that this woman definitely...
in the middle of a restaurant and whip your tit out.
This woman used Tom's of Maine products.
Of course. They sell that stuff
War
through the airport in Portland, Maine.
So she's the boy is suckling the woman, and her tit is out. And was the interview was over? Did you sit with a clip?
I just couldn't. I was 22, 23
That's
at the
terrible.
time. Mm-hmm. And there was no way I could even deal with that.
Do you start licking your lips and get cotton mouth while this is going on?
No, I said, thank you, it's been a pleasure, and I got up and I opened the door and I walked out.
Was she fine at least?
Not particularly.
Gosh, that's just bad.
They never are.
She looked mannish.
You know who I saw breastfeeding?
Did she look like Kevin Smith, that director, the big fat director?
You don't mind if I breastfeed my kid, do you?
You know who I saw breastfeeding here at Sirius on a Saturday?
Lynn Samuels.
A couple years ago. No, Drea Di Matteo.
Stop sucking so hard.
Wait a second. Drea Di Matteo.
Yeah, but she went
actress,
to the bathroom and she hid.
Right.
Adriana.
She's the one that's got the great body.
Yeah.
But looks like Nick Diameo, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a face like Nick.
She had a little baby, and she was, the baby was suckling right there in the bathroom, right here at Sirius.
she's incredibly fine, but she's got a guy's face.
But it was okay because, she went to the bathroom. I mean, the bathroom's not the ideal place because it's stinky and smells like duty. But, there's
But
ways.
where is an ideal place to whip your tit out and stick it in another human being's mouth?
The baby does
wait a
have to
minute.
eat, but there are ways.
Starbucks has put up signs in certain cities that you are not allowed to breastfeed
They
at
can't
Starbucks.
do that, though.
Then they sued them. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And I
Toys
would
R
tell you,
Us, too. It happened to Toys R Us.
I mean this. I'm sure the child needs to be fed or whatever, but at least go out of sight. That's
I agree.
all the
No, I
Starbucks
agree.
asked.
I agree.
was put them out of sight. And I think 2 women were letting the kids suck on their teat, and they were chatting it up. First of all, I hate everybody at coffee shops who sits there all day with the
it's
computers.
annoying, yeah.
I hate them more. If I owned a coffee shop,
Why aren't
I'd
they
have
just at home?
I have a
I
lot
have that
going
big
on.
sign.
I just don't have Wi-Fi where I'm at.
yeah. Peter of Boston,
You
thank
just have
you.
you could have a breastfeeding section in your coffee shop.
Oh, Peter, real quick, did the mom come? What? I'm sorry, wrong question. Sorry.
Thank you,
Thank
Peter.
you.
Peter. Walter, Chicago. Yes, Walter, the Jay Thomas Show. It's a time when you actually get to call up, speak to people that you normally wouldn't
And
get
we'll
to speak
talk
to.
over you.
We'll talk right over you. That's right.
Go ahead, Walter.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, Walter. After that big intro, is usually not the response I'm expecting. Yes, go ahead, Walter. No, wait, that's a former sound of the day. Hold on a minute. Go
Let's
ahead.
hear that again.
That's right.
That's
That was the
Ruth
sound
Buzzy in a rest home.
That's the sound of the day.
Fuzzy.
Are you the goat that sounded like a
We
child?
should start a rumor about her.
Here we go. Walter, go ahead, Walter. It's your time. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say you really dropped the ball with the interview.
I have a guess on who this is.
this?
And
Yeah,
it's
me
not
too.
Walter.
This is not Walter.
You know who this is, right?
Pansy.
This is Hansy. Hansy, you have been banned from the Jay Thomas
Is that
Show.
true?
Jay.
Yo, you're banned. Don't you try and use a fake voice on me and Walter.
Has Hansy really been banned?
He's completely banned. He cursed Ira the
Ira.
Weatherman.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're done. in my book.
Really?
Yeah. Told him to shut the fuck up or something.
What?
The Rich Little of Toronto, Hansi
He's-
calling in.
Hey, Jay, I don't think this is... Fuck you!
I love Hansi.
Doug, Oklahoma. Yes, Doug. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How you doing, Jay?
Good. Thank you.
I think Garrett is a genius and needs to be have a pay raise.
He is.
Really?
Yeah,
Garrett,
and
could you
the
have your
reason-
family stop calling the show, please?
You sound like one of Phineas's relatives. Did you just finish spraying breast milk on your cousin?
No, listen. He saw that the interview was going bad yesterday. He cut Rodney's microphone so he couldn't help you, and then all of a sudden you get all these phone calls so he can show the serious brass that you're popular.
I doubt it. I doubt it. He took his headphones off, left the studio.
It pained him.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do in that situation. Garrett, what did you want to do? Is there anything you wanted to do?
You wanted to do a tenuta and just run out of there, I bet.
Was it really that bad?
It was so uncomfortable.
Can we play some of it?
It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, I mean, I could go grab the clip of it.
Could we play like just a clip of where, like where Ralph Wiggum, basically wants to die on The Simpsons? You know what I'm talking about, Shuli,
No, I
right?
don't.
You don't?
I don't base my life on Simpsons episodes.
I don't either, but Kevin Kraft knows what I'm talking about.
To be honest, I'm frightened to play it again because it's embarrassing for me as a professional
but
broadcaster.
humorous to the rest of us.
I don't know if it's humorous.
It's humorous.
I don't think you should play it again either in case he happens to be listening.
Yes, that's another thing.
I just want to
it's
hear
bad.
like 2 minutes.
I think we got a better chance of seeing Kevin Bacon fly, like human flying.
No, I'm telling you,
than
you
him
write-
listening to the show.
You write him a nice little note, Jay. I think that'll really.
Why don't you send him a
make an
tweet,
impression.
Jay?
I tell you what,
Do
I was
it,
so
do it,
glad after it was over that my acting career is pretty much gone anyway. Because if I really had a decent career that someone could destroy, he would have told everyone he knows. He
No.
goes, man, I just talked to this asshole, Jay Tom. How they would,
He doesn't do that many movies, Jay.
Sure he does. He works.
No.
His IMDb is like 7 pages
No,
long.
What are you,
what has he
crazy?
done lately that was huge? He did like a TV movie.
He just won an Emmy for playing
A TV movie.
colonel who was taking dead soldiers.
Look, he's no
back
Nicholson.
to
If
the
you had done
United
this to
States.
Nicholson or to Clooney,
Yeah.
then you'd be in real trouble.
Well, George Clooney, I've known my
All right,
entire
then you're fine.
life. He would have been fine.
Then you're
but,
fine.
and I don't know about Jack
Just
Nicholson.
don't pull this shit with Matt Damon or George Clooney.
Matt Damon and George Clooney, right?
Yeah.
But Kevin Bacon, I've heard he and his brother interviewed when they're singing those crazy songs.
The Bacon Brothers.
You mean they're brilliant, genius songs?
And the brother is a stoner and really funny to listen to, and he takes the interview over. But Kevin's always very calm. I just thought yesterday, I would, go in there and get him. Drag him out.
Of course, I would have asked him about Madoff as well.
But I wasn't a brethren of his. It wasn't like he was enjoying the interview from the beginning. It was, it was just.
Did you really press him about Madoff, or did you just ask him once?
No, I didn't press him. I mentioned it. There was dead silence. He said he didn't want to talk about it. And then I said a couple of other things that are meant to be.
What were the
It's
other
like when
things
you're
he
fighting
said,
with your
Garrett?
Downplayed it. He asked him. Kevin Bacon's quiet, then goes, I don't want to talk about it. Then Jay just shuts up. It just goes, All right.
I guess we.
And
have
he's like, no, I don't want to start a problem, and then shuts up again. And Kevin's like, maybe we could just have another question. Yep.
Here's the other thing.
What's wrong with that?
It'll be played this afternoon on my show. I don't know if we're going to play it here
The
or
guy
not.
would have been a bad guest regardless.
Hey,
'cause he has
Shuley,
no sense of
nothing on the
humor.
Jay Thomas show is allowed to be replayed at any other time.
That's right.
That's right. But here's the thing, is that I think that I jumped out there trying to be, and I will tell you this is the truth. When you live in this world where there's like Howard Stern and he asks people about sex and all that other stuff, that's not usually my line of questioning. So I go, well, I have to do something to make this thing, memorable or cutting edge or whatever. So I use the word, I started cursing too much, right, Garrett? I was cursing from the beginning. And
so many curses.
I know. And it was a lack, and I mean this, it was a lack of vocabulary. And I wasn't able to choose the proper words. Here's a guy who considers himself, and the whole world thinks of him as a very good actor. And I was asking him things about being a butt fucker in a movie and stuff like that. It was just, it was all.
You
and
said the word butt fucker?
I did.
Well, you should have heard the way the interview started. We're with this cocksucker Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
It was
bad.
Yeah.
It was
well, some people can handle that ribbing.
Why are you dancing like a fruit and footloose with glitter?
Let's go to Bob in Chicago. The Jay Thomas Show. What could you possibly add to this today? What? Is he there?
Hey, Jay?
Yeah, Bob.
Hey,
This is the guy who has the Kevin Bacon story about Penn Station.
All right, so here's what happened.
So you were arrested, had something to do with Kevin Bacon?
I wasn't arrested. Here's what happened. I came into New York, I was out there for, a week or two, and Shuley was nice enough to have me come down and hang out on the Ms. Men show, so I went down there. And after the show, I'm walking back to Penn Station. I get to the station, and I get surrounded by about 4 cops. One of them's got their gun out on me. They start questioning me where I was, this and that. They pat me down. They never tell me what any of this is about. They never say, all they said was I look like a suspect in a crime that just occurred. They didn't tell me what.
What do you look like, Bob? What do you?
He so doesn't look like a criminal. So funny.
It's funny you ask, yeah, because Mark Burns even commented when I came into the studio that I looked like a mugger.
Really? I don't think so at all. I don't see that.
You look like a mugger, like describe yourself. Do you wear a hoodie?
Well, I had a hat, a hoodie, and a leather jacket on.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So anyways, I still at this point don't know what any of this is about. They pat me down, they check me out, they send me on my way. Never say anything about it.
Up against the wall, Kevin Bacon Task Force. Get up against the wall.
So I get to my hotel, I crash, I pass out, and I wake up the next morning, I turn on the news. First thing on the news is Kevin Bacon was mugged in Penn Station and they stole his wallet and cell phone. And this is what I'm getting held up at gunpoint about.
Now, did they frisk you?
They frisked me. They asked me my story and everything. I told them where I was, and they were just like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And I took off.
That's how the cops talk to you?
Nice.
Yeah, well, that's how they were that night. They were just like, "You're not the guy. Get the hell out of here."
Did they bend you over and try and stick the muzzle of the gun in your rear end? That's what they seem to enjoy doing in New York.
Thankfully, they did not do that. I'm sure that the situation could have gotten a lot worse if there weren't as many people around.
Now, when a cop pulls a gun on you, I mean, I've heard that I've never had a gun pulled on me in a robbery, but I mean, your life flashes in front of you. When a cop pulls a gun on you, is his finger on the trigger, or is it on the side of the gun? Do you even notice stuff like that?
Honestly, Jay, when it happened, I didn't even realize the cop had a gun pulled on me until halfway through the conversation.
Well, the few times it's happened to me, they've had the finger on the side of the trigger, not
You've
on.
had a gun on you?
You've had a gun pulled on you?
I wasn't always a newsman.
You're like the nicest guy ever.
You weren't always. Right.
I used to hang with the wrong crowd.
Yeah, he did.
I've had guys tell me that they have been through everything, but when a gun is pulled on you, that the piss just comes out of you. Well,
this will put it in perspective. Like
pants get wet, everything.
For my one of my buddy's bachelor party during the day, he rented out this paintball place out in Vegas, and we went like 16 of us and went and played paintball. Right, and let me tell you something. When people are shooting at you, you use muscles that you never even knew you had or had to use because they show up because people are shooting guns at you. And the next maybe 3 or 4 days, my legs were complete, like to the point where I couldn't squat to sit down. If I had to sit down, I would literally just have to fall into a chair because my muscles were in such pain. Because, someone's shooting at you. It's a whole new world when that happens. Same with pulling the gun on you. You see that gun come out and you're like, you don't even hear what they're saying. You're just so freaked out
that
about.
That could be a great new workout at gyms across America.
Pull a gun on you.
Yeah.
7-minute paintballs.
Well, I will tell you that when I played lots of paintball with my kids, we would go to these places and there would be other armies that we would play against. Some were professional
nerds.
And so we would get all of our equipment on. No, it's not nerds at all. It's like...
Yeah, he was on the Harry Potter team, and they were against the Lord of the Rings team.
So
I would get out there, and the machine guns and the things would start, and I would be killed within a matter of minutes.
Those little
and it
fuckers.
hurts, right? Those little pellets
It does hurt, but I would wear, like, sweatshirts and everything else.
It hurts
I'd
when they don't pop on you. That's when they really hurt, when they
But
don't
what's
break.
weird is when you play video games, everybody gets shot. Here's the thing. What is the difference between the paintball and the video game? And if we all landed in Afghanistan and we're going door to door fighting the insurgents, how do you live through that? That's the thing I don't understand.
Right, mentally and physically.
How do you but how do you not get killed like you do in paintball? They would be taking me home in a body bag within a matter of minutes from overseas. People say, why weren't you in the armed services?
Well, you're not really trained when you're doing paintball, Jay. You didn't go through.
I would hide.
Training.
I would hide as long as I could hide.
But
Someone
these
always
people
shoot
are
me.
professional.
But let me ask you this, Jay.
Murderers.
When you have the paintball thing going on, did you ever like hide behind cover and just pull the gun out and start shooting without looking? Because that's why a lot of these guys don't die. They're being shot at and they don't want to poke their head up, so they just pop their gun out and just start shooting back.
The best person I ever played paintball with or against was a woman who had been a captain in the Army, and there's some kind of a rule. You only take like 2 steps. You run, I think it's run, roll, and shoot, or up, down, or whatever.
That's cool.
She beat us all, killed everybody.
Yeah.
She killed everyone.
Tactical bitch.
And she did this tactical stuff. Yeah, that's the only time I ever saw any. Now, one time, my kids were playing paintball and some kind of rough guys, had them pinned down or something. And I drove up behind a grocery store here in California. And my oldest kid, my middle kid was probably, I don't know, let's say he was 12 and his brother was 9 or 10. So he comes out covered in paintball and I said, what's going on? He says, oh man, these kind of rough guys are shooting everybody and they're over in this clump of bushes over here. And I said, where's your little brother? And he says, he's the only one alive and they've got him pinned down. Now, Madison, when you have a kid and children, you have a kid. I mean, I'm not kidding you. Once somebody's fooling with your kid.
Oh, fuck that, man.
So he's, let's say my kid's 9 years old.
Our daughters won't be playing paintball.
He's pinned down behind a rock. Now, he always played paintball the same way. He would run out, hide, and then when the game was over, he would come out. He never even shot the gun.
Right. Smart move.
So these rough-looking, like 14, 15-year-old kids are crouched down, and they have got him caught in a crossbar, but they can't hit him. I did just like in a movie. I wish there was music. I say to my son, give me that gun, just like in a movie. I load it with a paintball clip.
Sure.
And I walk in there, and these 2 kids are crouched down. I go, hey, bah, 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 bah. I blasted the shit out of them. And they turned around. They said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm a goddamn United States Marine." And I said, Jake, get your ass out of here. So my son gets up like that, and we back up, and we both held our guns on him. And I said, drop him. And both the kids dropped them, and we backed up, and I said to my oldest, get in the truck, goddammit. I'll blast both of you. It was the most exciting, and these two 15-year-old kids.
Jay's version of Black Hawk Down.
They both had their hands up, and they were going, goddamn, who was that? We drove away.
Yeah, but that could have been bad for your sons, for, daddy to come in.
Jake, get in the truck. We're surrounded by skinnies.
No, and you know what's funny? I hadn't shaved in a few days. I had like a baseball cap on and a cigar.
So they didn't know you were dad?
No, and my wife said, "Go get the kids. They're behind the grocery store. They should have been home an hour ago or whatever."
He looked Marine-ish. The problem was the kids didn't see him afterwards because Jay was in the garage going, "He got tweezers. I got a splinter in my finger."
Well, the other one I used to do is, let's say we're talking about the rules, right?
Yeah.
So we would meet in the middle, right? And we would be talking about the rules. And they would say, don't do this and don't do that. And Julie, right at the end, and I said, hey, excuse me one second. The guy said, what? I said, whatever you do. And I'd put the gun right to his head. They go, no shooting in the head. Then we'd run.
What happens if you shoot somebody in the head with a paintball?
Well, nothing. But
you win.
That was
not cool.
Yes, Bob.
Right?
Go ahead, Bob.
The other thing about going paintball, we've got one of the biggest courses in the United States here, right outside Chicago. It's Challenge Park. It's
I've
probably
lost interest in this.
What's the name of it? You know what, Matt? Go puke or something.
Yeah, this is
go squirt some milk.
Manly or something.
You know what? It isn't too manly. Hold on a second. It's called a normal conversation. Sorry, it's not about you for 5 seconds.
No, it's the whole show is like male oriented.
No, it's life oriented.
No.
We talked about breastfeeding for Christ's sake.
I didn't even want to talk about that.
At what point do you think the show made the left turn into manhood?
Jesus. You know what? One day you're going to have a child.
How come broads don't ever call up?
Who?
Ladies.
Skirts. Okay. Dames.
Go ahead. How's them gams?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bob. I'm sorry. We had a little argument.
Yeah, no. The only thing that worries me about going to this place, I have a great time when I go out there and stuff, but you look at some of these people that are supposed to be watching over the courses, and the people in the corner picking their nose, picking their ass, staring out into space while people are taking their masks off, shooting people in the nuts and 2 feet away. And
or how about when the employees join in the game and all of a sudden there's that one guy with a Gatling gun, paintball gun, and he's like super good, and he's 9 and he's beating the shit out of everybody.
What about the teams? I think the teams are the scariest.
Before you go in, they're supposed to check the guns and make sure that the pressure is so high, isn't over a certain limit, and you're not going so fast, because they could shoot these things at rapid fire if they set the guns up like that.
Yeah. Well, you get baked, and at like 4 a.m. on ESPN2, they have paintball fucking battles sometimes, and it's so lame to watch on TV.
They're the same people that run the rides at county fairs.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You should never get on a piece of equipment put together by some toothless alcoholic who they have picked up along the road to be part of the crew, and then put your little kid on some sort of roller coaster.
Somebody left the camera on the Gravitron.
Yeah, but who's building the rides at like a Busch Gardens? A college educated person?
Probably so.
Every time I think of the carnival, I think of Joe Dirt. He's standing there with a mullet running the teacup ride.
I've seen that.
Oh, it's so great.
You know what? I couldn't sit through Joe Dirt unless I was completely loaded.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Bob.
It's hilarious if you're loaded.
Thank you very much, Bob. Thank you. Let's go to Larry Flint. Yes, Larry, good morning. The Jay Thomas Show. Celebrity Voices impersonated. Yes, Larry, good morning.
Good morning, Jay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad you called because Madison said the show is a little too male-ish. Glad that a man that loves women called up. Yeah.
I'm going to girl it up for you, Madison, all right? Julie, do you want me to get your kid an Iron Maiden onesie?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
What kind of papers do you think she's going to want anyways?
Oh.
Madison, you don't have to get your kid a rattle. Just give him a pill bottle and they'll choose that.
Okay.
Just get all your old pills and shake in front of her.
That's fine.
I wouldn't worry too much about Kevin Bacon. He called me last night. He's cool with it.
What did he say?
What did he say?
He wanted to borrow some money, you know. I told him, why don't you and your stupid brother go down to the subway and open up your guitar case and, you know, people throw in change.
Oh, you're making it worse, Larry.
By the way, I want to say this, that his charity is called refresheverything.com.
Refresh that interview.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And
I gotta
you
hear this interview.
You vote on charity. There's $20 million, and then you can put out a charity or something you think needs to be done, and then people vote on it. And if enough people vote on it, they give you a piece of the $20 million to get the thing done.
Wow.
That's what
You
he
get 20 minutes.
You think him and Kara Sedgwick are in the basement trying to come up with something to get that $20 million back?
Thank you, Larry Flint. It's the Jay Thomas Show. Shirley and Madison, of course.
So what's your name? Jay Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go! This is the Jay Thomas Show. Jay Thomas.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Howard 101.
Wow. Woo!
She was good, man.
Yeah, she's all right. She's all right. If you watch the Travel Channel, Bert the Conqueror is there. And, but this show's been on the air for a while. Bert, welcome to the Jay Thomas Show. Hey, Bert, how are you?
Jay, it's so good talking to you again, man. Last time we spoke, you paid me with the best compliment anyone on radio's ever given me.
What did I say?
You said, you are fantastic on radio, and I came in today thinking, I better not let him down.
No, you know what? There are so many people and I'll tell you this, mostly comics, and of course you have a show to talk about, but
yeah,
a lot of times a comic will be appearing somewhere and they won't want to use any of their material. Is this right, Shuli, for fear that if they can't use it at the venue or something?
Yeah, some comics are worried about that.
Yeah, they should come on and go, whatever's in the paper that day, or, what the president's doing or whatever. And I probably
use it all. I mean, if it's going to get you to buy a ticket and put your ass in a seat,
yeah.
Then
if someone's sitting in your show like, he said that on radio,
yeah,
then we weren't that good on radio, number one. I mean, normally if I tell a story, sometimes I'll tell a story about fighting a bear on radio, and whenever I do, someone inevitably yells, tell the fighting a bear story. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they don't, or there's this aloofness sometimes.
They want to feel like they are the person that can go in and riff. Here's the way I've always looked at it. Like if we're riffing and you bring up a subject that I have a joke about, I'm going to pretend that I wrote it on the fly, but I'm going to tell you my joke.
Exactly.
Hold on to it.
I also write stuff before any appearance I do. If I don't use it, I don't use it. But there's just so many guys, and I guess women too, they go, how do you do so well on a talk show? I go, well, you write shit before you go in.
Yeah.
And when you watch an actor on TV,
yeah,
or not a comic, but an actor, and you watch them die on a talk show, it's because they actually thought they were going to sit there and bullshit. Meanwhile, the host, why do you think they have all those cue cards?
Jay, I write stuff going to a dinner party with my wife. I have bits in my head that I'm like, I'm going to work this out on this chick. She likes this.
Work her ass over. Now, how long has Bert the Conqueror been on the air?
It's been on. This is the second season, so it was on last year and back again this year. And for those of the people who don't know, which is I think 90 million Americans, it is. I'm a tour guide for Thrills. I go out and I find the wildest, craziest stuff that the people in parts of their country are doing, and I just immerse myself in it.
But you actually do the thing like have you broken a bone or pulled a muscle or?
I broke my ribs and I blew out both my hamstrings.
Oh shit! Doing what?
The hamstrings I did on. I'm going to sound like such a wimp. The hamstrings I did on a blob. Do you know what a blob is?
Yeah, that's like the thing that you lay on, and then somebody jumps on it, and it bounces you up into the air.
Well, the reason why you blow a hamstring, I mean, and I happen to have, pulled them, blown them, everything else. If you're not completely relaxed and stretched out and everything else, even as a jock, I mean, you don't just start running full speed in the yard playing touch football. You'll blow both of them out.
That's what happened to me. I got shot up. They had a 420-pound guy blob me, and he shot me up 40 feet. Mm-hmm. And in the time, I tried to right my body.
Right.
So I was running as fast as I could in the air, blew out both my hamstrings, landed on my ear, and it was a wrap. I was out for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
You think that's bad? I once pulled my groin playing air hockey.
How did you do that?
I stretched too far to reach the puck.
Oh, I got that. I broke my ribs on a slip and slide.
So when that happens and you're shooting a reality show,
I lost my penis on a cocktail napkin.
What happens?
You know what's so funny is I didn't realize it at first, and then I just kept going, and I was like, because you need to get the shot, and it's a slip and slide, they're fun, and so I kept going, and then the next morning I woke up and I couldn't breathe, and I was like, wow. I wonder if that's the rib thing. Well, and then you wrap and you have a couple beers and it loosens up. Mm-hmm. And then we went to Alaska. We had to go to straight to Alaska. And I'm sitting in Alaska. You can't sleep when you have broken ribs. There's no.
No, you can't breathe. It's like when you pull the muscle, in the middle of your chest. You think you're having a heart attack, and it's that muscle thing. That
sternum thing you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. I pulled that fucking. Does that count?
Listen to this. I cracked the rib at a massage parlor, at an Asian massage parlor.
Wait a minute.
I'm serious.
My dick was pulled at a massage parlor. I got a dick pull.
I'm so lucky. I found the one Asian masseuse who's built like Ray Lewis, and she decides to fucking walk on my back.
Oh, I've had that.
Yeah.
I've had that where I'm like, what part of this is enjoyable?
Yeah. I'll never forget this. The tiles of the ceiling were gone, so they could hold on to the pipes that were running through the ceiling.
But wait a minute.
She stepped on it.
Wait a minute. Did she put her feet on the sides of your head?
It didn't get that far,
Jay.
Down she started at the small of my back, took one step, there was a pop.
Right.
And I go, get over me. And her name was Rose. Like, how many Asian women are named Rose?
Tokyo.
And wear a football helmet when they come in.
A pair of pants, canvas pants to put on?
No.
Yeah, they did.
Canvas pants?
They gave you canvas pants because you're not supposed to be nude at those.
Right.
And I thought it was a pillowcase.
One second.
So I put it on my pillow, and then she gets halfway down my body and goes, where are pants? And I'm like, they're not on me. And she's like, I gave you pants, and I was like, no, you gave me a pillowcase.
Ha 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 ha. Bert.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Where's Ernie? Ha 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 ha. Zing.
I've been doing stand-up for 13 years, and I've had that name my whole life, and I've never had a comeback for it.
Well, thank you. Now, we have, Bert, Bert the Conqueror. That's our weatherman, by the way. Myra the weatherman. TravelChannel.com, BertBert.com, and then Sunday night. Now, here's the strange thing as I'm looking at your background. Oliver Stone optioned the rights to your life.
Yeah.
So something happened that looked like you were going to be the most famous person in the world. Well, what did he find out about you that excited him so much?
1997, Rolling Stone magazine wrote a 6.5-page article about me, calling me the #1 party animal in the country.
Did you throw the parties?
No, I was just a big partier. I went to Florida State, and I was the guy. I mean, it sounds weird to talk about yourself like this, but I literally was the biggest party animal in the country. So the article.
Wait, what's the guy that does the movies and writes the books that all the women want to fuck when he comes up here? He writes the
Tucker Max?
Emerald?
Yeah, Tucker Max.
Yeah.
Were you like him?
No, I was like I'm not going to slam Tucker Max, but
why
I
not?
read his book, and I'm totally not like him. I was just a wild party animal.
He was just about the party. He just wanted to fucking have a good time.
Do blow and drink and
well, that's a party.
I'm a grown up. I partied.
So you did, okay. So what would make you though a 6-page Rolling Stone article guy. Who told them about you?
They called the school and basically were looking for someone that could show them around the school, and then spent a week with me. And after the end of the week, the guy was like, "All right, this article is just about this kid." I mean, like, I'm the guy. You know, I don't like I said, I fought a bear. When I was in. I mean, these are stories you can find online about me. But like when I went to Russia and backpacked through Russia and ended up robbing a train with the Russian mob. These are like. So I just was the guy with.
Now, wait a minute. You go to Russia like as a college student.
Yeah.
And you are backpacking. How do you meet a mob and then you rob a train?
It's kind of a long story. It was through the school. The school paid the.
Is that part of the European experience that my kids can expect?
No, this was in 1993 when the mob ran Russia.
Right.
And so if you were going to do a tour, a study abroad in Russia, you needed to negotiate a price with the mob so they could watch you. Because if they didn't watch you, they just rob you blind. And you got a bunch of kids over there and you're running a program, so that's what they did. They gave us 2 banditos to stay with us at all times. And, I mean, it's really kind of a long story.
But, I mean, did you really go to a moving train, or was it in the station, or...
Like a moving train.
How do they stop a moving train? Do they put logs on...
They don't stop it.
Cassidy, the mob ran... There's a mob that ran St. Petersburg, a mob that ran Moscow, and a mob that ran the train. And so my mobsters from St. Petersburg introduced me to the mobsters on the train, and when my school class was going to Moscow... And you know what? I'll send you the story, Jay.
Is that what Oliver Stone was interested? Is that what Oliver Stone was interested in? All of that?
Yeah, basically, I was the kid that had the most amazing stories. I was in a band in college. I kicked out the guitarist. He went and formed a band called Creed. And so they met me, and I was a big partier, and then they optioned the rights to my life. Started doing stand-up. Like 6 months into doing stand-up, Will Smith saw me do stand-up and signed me to a development deal and said, "Oh, I want to do a TV show with you." So the option ran out with Oliver Stone, and then.
Now, why didn't that happen? What turned Oliver Stone off?
Will Smith said, "If I'm going to do a sitcom with him and have him star in it, then you need to have him star in this movie, or I will kill the deal." And so the deal died.
Say it again now. Wait a minute. Hold on. I don't follow that one.
Will Smith signed me to a
right. I gotcha. And then you had the Oliver Stone deal.
Yeah, but the Oliver Stone deal was through an agent. It was through the writer of the article's agent, Jody Hotchkiss.
Okay.
So that writer had coupled me and the writer. That agent had coupled me and the writer together to sell this movie about a journalist and a party animal meeting in college. And so when I signed a deal with Will Smith, I got an agent at ICM, got a big manager, and then everyone said, "Let's take a look at this deal." So the option falls apart in like 3 months, and we're not renewing it. And if you plan on renewing it, you're going to have him star in the movie because he just signed a deal to start a sitcom with Will Smith.
And Oliver Stone didn't want you to star in the movie.
And, I mean, quite honestly, I can understand.
I can too.
Who's going to watch a movie with someone that's never acted before? But that's
how do you pronounce your last name?
Kreischer.
Starring Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't see it.
So you know what? And you were so naive. I would have thought the Oliver, you were too weak to tell the manager and the agent, "No, I don't have to star in it."
No, I would have. I told them I didn't need to star in it. I told them I just said, "Just make the movie."
Right.
But it fell apart. All the guys. I mean, this is the Hollywood folklore, unprovable because everyone's afraid of getting sued part of the story. But,
right.
So then all the writers who wrote spec scripts for Oliver Stone got their articles back about a journalist and a party animal meeting in college. And one of the writers changed my name in the movie, sold it to National Lampoon, and it became the movie Van Wilder. So
wow.
Yeah. The only proof I have of that is I did National Lampoon used to have a channel on XM.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did Kevin Couch was the guy's name, and I did his show one day. And I said, let's bring a bunch of execs in. I'd love to tell this story and find out if it's true, or at least if I know that I'm not lying when I tell this story.
Well, of course it's true.
So I brought these execs in. Yeah, but in Hollywood, no one's ever gonna admit blame of thievery, So I started telling the story, and all of a sudden the execs froze, and they were like, stop the interview. Interview's over. What are you trying to do? Do you want to sue? What do you want? And I was like, nothing. I just want to be able to tell it on radio, quite honestly.
Yeah, it's your fucking story.
Jay.
Yes, yes.
Des Moines Funny Bone, maybe. That's all I want.
Yes, Ira.
Jay.
Yes, Ira.
I broke a rib playing Yahtzee.
Really? Yes.
I fell 2004 on both of my knees. I was in Montefiore North, and they did it on a Wednesday. Both of my knees
were operated on.
Yes.
That's terrible.
What did they have to do?
I don't know, but they did surgery.
And you're on crutches after that?
Yes.
Had to be horrible for you.
I had things
on your knees.
Like cast?
Bert, where are you right now?
I'm in New York.
What's the weather for the weekend, the weatherman?
New York, it's going to be around 53 degrees and the mostly fair sky.
What about the snow? I've been reading about snow.
Well, Jay,
yes,
as you know,
right.
It snows the end of March.
I know
first
it does.
week in
Will it
April.
snow today, though? Will it snow today?
We had a little bit light flurries,
but not big
But
snow.
it's not gonna add up to too
Al
much.
Roker said it was going to be 3 inches of snow in the city.
No, it is not. I don't know where he got 3 inches.
Is he an asshole? Is Al
he
Roker?
should lie down.
He should lie down. Is Al Roker an asshole in your opinion?
He's an asshole.
All right, there you go, Bert. That's our weatherman. The weatherman. Now, Bert, when that happens to you, and Oliver Stone's after you, and the pilots and all of that, I mean, you think, oh my God, it's hard to believe, and then the shit falls apart.
Yeah.
That's the rough part of it.
Yeah, well, Patrice O'Neill's a friend of mine, and we were in Scotland doing a tour right before all the big stuff started happening in my career. Like, I got on a TV show, I got another development deal with CBS after the one with Will Smith.
Right.
And Patrice gave me the best advice I've ever gotten in my entire life. He was like, if you don't have a foundation in this business, every fall you have will be from the top of the mountain all the way to the bottom. And he was like, if you get your stand-up up to a place, every more you do your stand-up, you raise base camp. So every time you fall, you just go back to base camp. But
how do you feel about doing a reality show? Did you feel as though that was this is not where you wanted to end up?
No. I mean, quite honestly, you're on the road. I've been doing the road ever since, for 13 years. And any opportunity you get, I've always had the motto, eat shit, cash checks. So I love the show. I love
shit, cash checks.
That's my motto, baby.
All right.
I have that tattooed on my ass.
Well, you know what's good now? When I was getting into show business, if you were in television, you never did movies, and you couldn't do the theater, and God forbid if you did a quiz show or whatever, you were done. Now it makes no difference. But I would say that that only changed in the last 15 years, 10, 15 years.
Oh, literally, they stopped giving six-figure development deals 10 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And quite honestly, I'm a huge fan of Travel Channel. I watch it. Even it's weird seeing your own promos on. I mean, I was a fan of Man vs. Food, Bourdain, Zimmern, and Sam Brown. So for me, it was an easy fit. I was like, I love the channel. I would love to be involved with anything.
Now, what about the ghost adventurers who I know I've worked with and everything else? These guys see ghosts all the time.
Tell me about it.
All right.
Yep,
so,
we never see them.
Yeah, I go, and I'm in the same place where they are, and I don't see a fucking thing. And they're not even for 1 second worried that they're not gonna. It's like Benny Hinn never worries that he's not gonna cure.
He's not gonna heal someone.
A crippled person. Right. What do you think the attraction is to those shows? They're the most, they're the biggest rated shows on Travel Channel, the Ghost Adventures. What is that? I mean, do you watch that show and go, ooh, there's a ghost? Or do you think that these guys are just incredible scam artists?
No, I think they definitely see stuff.
You do?
Yeah, they have to. I mean, you could. I don't think.
Are you just saying that, Bert, because you're on the Travel Channel?
I'm saying that for one because I know them personally, and I don't. They're not the kind of guys that would lie. Like I went to dinner with Aaron.
No, I was in Vegas with him recently and went and they're like totally convinced they see shit, right?
And if I think they're the kind of guys that if they were in on the scam, they'd tell you. But I sat with dinner at Aaron, and he talked passionately about how he gets these objects and he brings back all these weird spirits to his house, and his house is just screwed because it's like got all this negative ghost energy in it.
Doesn't he live with his mother?
I think that's Zach.
One of them lives with their mother.
Zach,
You know?
they're on the road so much. I think they just all got rid of their apartments.
Yeah.
And and I know Zach's mom takes care of his dog.
And Bert the Conqueror, you just do crazy shit everywhere you can find it.
You name it. I'll do it.
All right.
Hey, Bert, shalom, shalom.
Well, there you go. Bert the Conqueror, go to BertBertBert.com, TravelChannel.com. Sunday night, season 2 begins again. So, do you think you'll ever act again?
Yeah. I mean, I audition for stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You know, in my opinion, I think that stuff will, that stuff will come when it comes, and if it doesn't, I can do stand-up in this show for the rest of my life.
Are you doing stand-up in town this weekend?
No, I'm just doing press. My next date's in Dayton, Ohio.
Where are you going to be this weekend, Bert?
He just said
I'm going back to L.A. I'm doing the Kids' Choice Awards.
Bert, I lost a kidney doing the hokey pokey. You do the hokey pokey and you turn it all around.
He's trying to fit in. Bert, thanks very much, and enjoy the second season of Bert the Conqueror.
Jay and Shuli, it was a pleasure talking to you guys.
Bert,
great talking to you,
have
man.
Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend.
Mm-hmm. Now, when I have a guest like that, and you said you lost a kidney doing the hokey pokey and all. I mean, are you kidding, or is any of that true?
I really mean it, Jay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Jay Al Roker is a Kunashol.
Is a what?
Kunashol.
Coon asshole.
A coon asshole.
Yeah, you see.
By the way, this show is for us. If you don't get it or you don't like it, yeah, fuck you. We didn't mean it. It's not for you anyway. It's just for us. Oh, Jesus. Let's go to Bill of Charlotte. Hello, Bill. It's
Sounds
Jay
like a
Tom.
Jewish pastry. Myrtle, get a couple of Kunashols.
You want the ones with the sparkly things on the top? The Kunashol with the
little pickles?
Garrett said a Kunashol's a little pickle. Bill, yes, sir. Go ahead, Bill of Charlotte.
Jay, you mentioned Jews have big noses. I was just wondering why. Or do you know why?
Well, that's the oldest fucker. Get rid of him. Get him off the fucking...
Jackie used that one on Tuesday night.
Give me a fucking break. What an asshole. Don't call up with a 25-fucking-year-old joke.
Jay, did you know how the Grand Canyon was made?
Yeah. Gary of Cambridge, Massachusetts. Hello, Gary.
Jay, I'm sorry. Gary's not available. This is little Ira.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him. You complete fucking idiots.
It's not so cool. Famous for roles on Murphy Brown.
This man is making a sexual advance on my wife.
One leg over my shoulder.
Are you talking about shaved assholes and your kids in the car?
The Jay Thomas Show.
Howard 101.
America's Worst Driver is, I think it's already started. Alonzo Bowden, welcome to the Jay Thomas Show. Am I saying that right, Bowden?
You got it. What's up, Jay? Yeah, we premiered last Sunday night.
And Shuli is there in the studio. He's a huge fan of yours, by the way.
Very cool. We have worked together.
I like I like Alonzo because he's actual comic who was in the last Comic Standing thing, and he's a good guy too. He wasn't like an asshole after he won. So. You
mean the other people that won? Give me a name of someone who became an asshole, Shuli.
I don't know if he was an ass. I never met the guy before last.
Get on the microphone. Also, you're broadcasting.
I never met the guy.
Sorry, Alonzo, you had to see this.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
Could you put your mouth right on the microphone?
I'm on the microphone. What do you want from me?
Well,
turn your headphones up, old man.
No, I can hear Alonzo just fine.
Well, he's a large black man. He's got a voice that carries a little better than.
And you're a skinny little Jew, so that means you have no vocal cords. Yeah. Alonzo, I'm sorry you had to hear this.
I'm just wondering, would my voice be different if I were a large white guy? Like,
yeah.
I feel insulted for you at the bigotry that I just heard.
Did you feel it? Because
I did.
I twinged a little on that.
It hit me like a text message from Tiger Woods.
Look at that.
Okay. So, Shuli, you say after people have won their last Comic Standing, they become complete assholes.
Yeah, I mean, I think like a guy. Well, he didn't.
You know,
win.
I won that twice.
Did you really?
Sorry, it was just laying there waiting for me.
I love that one.
Yeah.
So now I'm curious. Who did you think became an asshole?
I think a guy like Ant really became a bit of a dickhead after, and he didn't win it, but
Jay Moore, did he win it?
Well, Jay
created
was,
it and hosted it.
Jay was, and then there was this whole controversy with the producers of it that represented some of the comics in it, and Drew Carey stormed off of the show. Was that your season?
Drew Carey?
Yeah, that was my season. That was my.
Why would Drew Carey storm off? Because there wasn't a big wheel to turn.
I'm dying to hear the
all right,
story.
let me explain.
Let's hear it.
Let me explain the story. First of all, the thing about Ant is just being Ant, but he would just be happy that you remembered him.
Right.
Like that, he doesn't give a shit if you like him or hate him as long as you say his name right. So,
Ant?
Yeah, Ant's just happy that.
Is that why he chose that name, to make it very easy, memorable?
You know something? It's not only Ant. You have to spell it capital A, capital N, capital T. Like it's somehow legally you have to spell it with capital letters.
As if his name was Liza.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. But what happened with Drew Carey and Brett Butler was they were 2 of the 3 judges in Vegas. There were 20 of us comics left New York, went to Vegas, and they were picking 10 out of the 20 to move into the house and continue on the show.
Right.
So Drew and Brett were 2 of the judges, and they had the comics they picked, and one of the comics they picked didn't make the final cut. So they got up and stormed off. They said, this is bullshit, and blah, blah, blah.
Is it true, or they were doing it to make the show better?
No, they did it. But what I figured out, this is my theory, because I was there and because I was part of it.
The 3rd season of Second season.
Second season.
This is the 2nd season, okay.
NBC kind of set them up because they weren't making the final decision of what comics were going on, simply because we were being judged by originality, by not reusing material, by how we interacted off stage. Well, they didn't see any of that. They didn't see the prior 3 auditions, so they had no way of knowing if a comic was repeating jokes from the week before or whatever. So they weren't making the final decision, but I think NBC told them they were making the final decision when they actually weren't. So when comics they picked didn't get picked, they got pissed. And the guy they were pissed about, the one comic who's hilarious, I love the guy, I just saw him yesterday, he's a guy named Dan Natterman.
Oh,
they wanted Natterman on the show, and Natterman didn't get picked. And I don't know why Natterman didn't get picked, but that was the one they were
He is a great
mad
guy.
about.
You know what? All of these shows, I mean, you're working for the Travel Channel. I also work for the Travel Channel. I have a show called Ghost Stories, which is going to come on, I guess, soon. I did a pilot and all. And they kind of don't fool with me, but the real reality shows, and you're doing one now, I don't think you could just, I mean, they don't either, and I'm going to be devil's advocate here. The producers don't think it's going to be enjoyable unless they fuck with it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's true, and they may be correct. I have no idea.
Oh, we used to, the comics on Last Comic Standing, we used to get into literally arguments with the producers. Like, if you were backstage, you would have thought it was 10 comics versus the producers rather than 10 comics versus each other, because they were literally bordering on shouting matches because they wanted us to fight and we wanted to be funny. They always want to breed controversy, and when you take 10 comics who've been on the road for years and know each other, it's like, well, we got nothing to fight about. What am I going to argue with Kathleen?
What is that, by the way? Even with ESPN, even the sports, everything has to be. Here I am, I'm the rudest,
to them,
worst human being that
that's
ever
reality
walked around.
Television. That's to them. That's reality television. And for Last Comic Standing, it should have been a competition between comedians to see who's the best, basically. Didn't have to be all about the drama.
But people bought into the drama. And actually, yeah, I don't know. You know,
can't prove that.
Well, the
producers told you that.
No, the ratings showed it.
No, the drama
Really?
gets
Yeah.
the drama gets people watching that wouldn't have watched it maybe otherwise.
But I'll tell you this. Does funny matter? Season 2 had the funniest comics and is considered the best season of the 6 they did.
There's a new show out
agree.
there.
I stopped watching
by the way, Alonzo Bowden is here to talk about America's Worst Driver, and that'll be on a Sunday night. There is a new show that I just saw called, I don't know if it's called Wild Girls or whatever, but it's like 2 or 3 strippers, and one girl has been arraigned and may go to jail or whatever, and it's just a show about 4 horrible women. Like
That sounds awesome.
They're evil. They're just evil. They're bad women.
Yeah, that's Real Wives of Orange County. It's a big hit.
But it's really strange. It's like, what do you think the attraction is to the arguing and the? I mean, don't most people's lives have so much drama in them? Wouldn't you like to watch something kind of? Even the Kardashians. One of the guys this guy Scott is drunk all the time, and they actually show him doing the shots. He's obviously got some kind of alcohol and drug problem, and they promote it. You know what I mean? And I don't find it interesting. I look at it and go, I don't find this interesting for some reason.
I don't know. Like on our show, on America's Worst Driver, I have to say some of the funniest stuff is the contestants arguing in the cars. You know, what we did, you
put husbands and wives in the car?
We had husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, co-workers. Basically, the passenger nominated the driver as the worst driver. You know, like say a husband says, my wife is the worst driver in America. So we get them both on. Now she's driving and he's navigating, and we have cameras and microphones in the car. We have this big red flashing light in the car, and we have them followed around the city by an off-duty traffic cop who hits a button every time they screw up. You know, you roll through a stop sign, you're speeding, or your hands are off the wheel or something like that.
Now, aren't they trying to win something? So wouldn't they try and drive badly?
No, it's a reverse. This is a reverse reality thing. So in other words, you want the fewest violations. The person with the fewest violations is the first person off the show. And that's what you want to be. So the first contestant off, you know, say that you start with 100 points. You do the city challenge. You drive around the city. Next week we're going to do Boston. You drive around Boston. You lose 20 points.
Which is the worst place to drive. It's a rough city to drive.
It's a rough city.
Yeah. I'd lose 15 points for steering with my knee while loading a bowl.
That would hurt you. That would hurt you.
That would be.
So
now, I noticed there's not one Asian on the show.
Yeah, we did.
Let's talk.
All right. Not true.
What?
Not true. We had Asians in San Francisco. Yes, we had a Filipino couple.
Well, that's not hard to do. It's San Francisco. That's like saying
I don't know if Filipino even qualifies as a full Asian.
Yeah, no, we're talking.
I don't want my Asian speaking Spanish. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Philippines are weird. Puerto Ricans lost on the way to China. I understand.
But I mean, did they not do that because it's a cliche?
No,
and it would be racist?
I don't know how the producers picked the contestants, but I will say this: the contestants fighting in the cars was one of the funniest parts of the show. We gave them different driving challenges. Now, the worst driver in every city, that's what you didn't want to be, because then we destroyed your car. And yes, we did take your personal car that you used in the competition, and we had monster trucks, and we had car crushers, and we had explosives, and we destroyed the car. So you left the show walking.
Who thought of this?
It started with Canada's worst driver, but you know, since this is America, when we took it, we added the twist of we're going to destroy your car, because we're Americans. Right. We don't. Canadians are polite. They'll give you a ride home. we blow up your car and leave you out at Faneuil Hall. I don't give a shit.
Right.
You know, and then they compete. Then the 8 people who lost their cars came to L.A. for the grand finale to compete to win new cars. But America's worst driver, he leaves on a bicycle.
Now, they smushed the car. Now, I've got to believe that they're given some sort of money to buy another car.
No. Well, like I said, in the grand finale, they compete to win a replacement car. No, when you got to remember, Jay, we're in an age where everyone wants to be on TV. So people,
no matter what they're going to do to you.
Right. So people figure, well, listen, I come on this show to save my car. I only have to be better than one driver. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to win the whole thing. I just have to be better than somebody. And I think that was a lot of people's strategy. And like you said, you think they were driving bad intentionally, but once they started doing it, they realized, like, wait a minute. I'm not good enough to pretend to be a bad driver. Like, you know how they say you have to be a good actor to pretend to be a bad actor? Mm-hmm. They thought they could pretend to be bad drivers. I'm going to tell you how bad some of our drivers were. And it was a fun show. It was safe. We had AAA. They're like, you know, AAA is involved checking stuff we do. It wasn't a race through the streets or anything like that. But you know how you drive when a cop's behind you?
You know what? It happened to me just yesterday, and my buddy and I, of course, we were doing every illegal thing we could possibly do inside of the car. We were both paranoid, and we looked at him in the right rear view mirror. We kept our eye on him to the point where he kind of fell behind us a mile away from us, and we thought he was doing something to catch us. We were so paranoid.
Right.
I'm so nervous around cops.
Yeah, you put your hands on the wheel, you slow down, everything else. We actually had drivers. Now, keep in mind, there was cameras in their car. They're being followed by an off-duty cop and another camera crew, and they still got pulled over by real cops.
Oh, come on.
I am not making this up.
You guys
Pulled
didn't
over
call
by-
in a
no,
911 against them?
Pulled over by real cops while driving on the show, where the off-duty cop had to say, look, we're doing a TV show, don't write the ticket, blah, blah, blah. But we did film them, a couple of drivers getting pulled over.
Did they not get a ticket because you said don't give them a ticket, it's a TV show?
Because the off-duty cop talked to him, yeah. You know, cops have like a thing.
Yeah.
You know, if cop says it's okay, then they let it go. But yeah, we had some real bad drivers.
America's Worst Driver, Sunday night at 10 o'clock on the Travel Channel. And Alonzo Bowden is here.
I got to ask Alonzo something.
I'm going to tell you one thing that I want all of you to start doing, and I've done it 3 times, and it's the greatest revenge. I was driving Alonzo on the 101, Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's home.
And I'm driving very close to where the 101 becomes the 134. All these highways too, Shul.
Burbank. Burbank.
Right, all of this stuff.
Going toward Pasadena.
And they passed the law you can't talk on the cell phone here, right?
Right.
So I break the law constantly. So I'm talking on the cell phone.
Everybody does, by the way.
Trying to keep my, my crumbling career, up for a moment, talking to whatever meaningless individual that's running it, an agent or a manager or whatever. And a guy pulls up next to me and he has some sort of loudspeaker in his truck. And he goes, you're not supposed to be doing that. Like that. And I look around, I thought it was a cop. It was a guy in a truck, and I know for a fact he was a teabagger with the people that want to stop the taxes who suck testicles. That's what they are, by the way. Right. So he was a teabagger. And so I looked at him and I go, go fuck yourself, man. And he goes, hey, you know what? I have a good mind to turn you, something like that. He pulled ahead of me, and now we all stop in this traffic. I called 911, and I gave the cops his license plate. Yeah. And I said, listen to this one. He was weaving in and out of traffic, and he pulled a gun on me.
Oh, perfect.
By the time I got to the cutoff, he was surrounded by the highway patrol. You have got to do this. The next time somebody screws with you on a roadway, call 911. The worst that can happen to you is they'll say there was no gun or he denies it or whatever. There's no witnesses, none. And they will pull his ass over. And this guy, I'm sure they had his hands against the truck and the whole thing.
Now,
you got to say he's weaving, and you got to say you think you saw the flash of a muzzle. They love that term.
Is this better than actually shooting them? Because, in L.A. for a while, we would just pick them off on the freeway.
Yeah.
I'm scared to death in L.A. I mean, I really am. People...
You can't even compliment somebody on their car without the risk of getting shot.
You know what's great, Jay? I wish you were here to see the look on my publicist's face when I joke about drivers shooting drivers as we promote America's Worst Driver. Well, this poor woman is scared. She's like, shut up. Don't ever say that.
You know what? The show would be number 1 if somebody shot Alonzo from a moving car, okay?
But you can only do it once. Show. How about Alonzo shoots... How about we reverse this? What do you want to take me out for? You already got a show. You don't need mine.
How about world's worst shooters? You get the worst shooters out there. All these gangbangers. Let me change gears here, Jay, and ask a serious question.
Hold on a minute. It's like being interviewed on KTLA in Los Angeles. Right. Hey, let's change gears about the Worst Driver show.
Can we bring the lights down a little bit? Yeah. Alonzo, with a voice that you have, I guess what I'm trying to ask, are your balls still on their way up in the elevator? How big are they?
They are big enough to keep me grounded.
Yes.
Right. How's that? My balls keep me grounded.
Alonzo Bowden is here.
Voice. I'm still trying to get a job with it.
Are you a married guy?
No, I'm single.
Single, so you must get a lot of tail on the road.
Yeah, I actually follow Tiger around, and when he's done, I step in.
Right.
I'm like, here I am. What's up?
Have you seen the new texts that were released by one of the whores he was with?
You know what's scary? I know that chick.
How do you know her?
Yeah, I know that chick. I know her from Vegas.
All right, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Alonzo, stay with us. We will find out what he knows about Tiger's whore next.
Howard 101.
Jay Thomas.
It's the weirdest and the wildest.
Check 1, 2. Testing.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're listening to the Jay Thomas Show.
It's obscene. It's wrong.
I like it. This is what it sounds like.
Howard 101. Yes.
And also Alonzo Bowden from the Sunday night 10 o'clock Travel Channel show, America's Worst Driver. Alonzo was the grand prize winner on season 3 of Last Comic Standing. And we were talking, I don't know, off air or not. Will you ever have a celebrity worst driver? Would you have?
It's something they may do. Right now, we're personally, I'm waiting to hear we're doing season 2 because I need this gig. So
it's really not celebrities, though. There'd be people like me.
Yeah, but you're a celebrity.
In a way, yeah.
Listen, I'm a guest on your show. Where does that leave me?
Nowhere. And I'm filling in for somebody.
Jay,
so we're all like,
You're big time. No,
yeah, absolutely.
It's a possibility. That's something that would be funny if you could get them on and get them to do our obstacle course. We had an obstacle course on the show where there was like a challenge. They had to reverse through a maze. They have a giant teeter-totter that they had to park a car on. And
you had a teeter-totter big enough for a car?
Yeah.
It sounds like the stuff would be difficult for even a decent driver.
Well, that was, but the reverse challenge. Now, if you're a decent driver, you could have got through that, and the rest of it, a lot of it is just paying attention to the car and reaction time.
You know what's really hard?
A lot of drivers it's not that they can't drive, they just don't pay any attention when they're behind the wheel. They don't pay attention to what they're doing.
Right.
Or the other thing that's funny is how many people aren't aware of their car. Like, in other words, we had a parking challenge, and they have to parallel park, and people like literally don't know how big their car is. They just literally bang into the cars and the curb around them, but to them that's part of parking. Like, that's how you measure it. You tap the one behind you and the one in front of you, and they think that's the right way to do it.
You also have to know the sensitivity of your pedals. You don't want to put too much weight on it, then boom, you're flying back, you got whiplash.
Yeah. Yeah,
where do you go with this show? The only place to go
Don't
is...
say it like that.
Can you drive while somebody's going down on you? What sort of driver on you are you when you're getting
roll
hit?
a joint through Laurel Canyon?
Or for the woman, if you're trying to, jerk your boyfriend off, can you really drive well during... Those are the... we have a ton of truckers that listen to us, Alonzo.
Hold on. You are now talking season 3.
Yeah, thank you. We got a ton of truckers, and when you ask them what they have seen from their cab down into a car, I mean, the phones light up. You cannot believe how many sex acts are going on, and women showing guys in trucks their ass and their everything. That's the real challenge, I think, is having sex while the car is moving.
Season 3. Who's the best
Season 3.
sexter talking about golden showers while driving through the streets of San Francisco?
That's Tiger Woods.
There
Well, you know what? He's a bad driver while being beaten with a golf club.
Yeah, see, but that gets in the way.
Right.
That gets in the way.
Now, he says he wasn't hit by her, by the way.
Well, what else is he going to say?
The cops say maybe she didn't hit him either.
Yeah,
so he just backed out, I guess, was upset or pilled out or whatever, and rammed the car into something, right?
Here's the thing. First of all, I don't really give a shit. Really? I could care less. But the other thing
is that because he's only half black? You don't accept it?
No, because I don't care about what celebrities do. I want to see Tiger play golf. I mean, come on, listen. Look at what we're talking about. We're talking about the richest, most famous athlete in the world, right? He's in his late 20s, early 30s. He's built like a stud. Who is shocked he was fucking around? I'm looking for the person who could legitimately
the stupidity
say,
of it. It's the stupidity.
Now, the fact that he used his own cell phone for texting and stuff like that. This is where don't you have any friends? Don't you have any But see, if he had been in a team sport, this is the difference. If you're playing football, baseball, or basketball, the older players teach you how to do this shit. Mm-hmm. See, in golf, he didn't have anyone to teach him how to screw around because, when Arnold Palmer was screwing around, they didn't have text messages.
Right. All he's got is some idiot telling him what the wind is.
You're
need the wind.
You're not joking. All my life, I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina as a disc jockey, and Arnold Palmer opened a Cadillac dealership there. And it was a big deal when Arnold Palmer came to town, and I think he owned a few around the country. And it was always, said that Arnie was a ladies' man, by the way, Arnie's army is nothing compared to Tiger's whores. I got to tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, come on, give me a break.
But,
but Arnold Palmer, all those. I mean, listen, how about those handsome sons of bitches at the most beautiful country clubs in the world, right? I mean, it's so pristine and beautiful, and even when you saw the crowds, didn't the women look just so pure and sweet that were following the golfers? I mean, these guys had to be getting laid at a incredible rate,
Yeah, but you know what's funny now? They can't wait for Tiger to come back. They're like, Tiger, we will give you our wives.
Yeah.
Please come back to the tour, because since you've been gone, the only people watching golf now are actually related to the golfers.
Right.
That's the only people watch. Like,
and guys that really love golf.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit.
Right.
They want Tiger back so bad. And I think Philip Knight said it the best, the guy who runs Nike. And at the end of Tiger's career, this is just going to be a blip. And what did he say? The people who were pissed off were women and church Puritans, and he said, and none of them buy Nike products.
Now, are you a sex addict if you're single? Can you be a sex addict as a single man?
According to Dr. Drew, if you do anything 3 times and enjoy it, you are actually an addict, and there will be a TV show on VH1 about you.
Right.
You know what? Okay, are you a sex addict? When women are like, I want to bang you, I will do anything you want right now. Like, if you get that offer every day, at what point are you an addict for saying, I don't know.
You're an addict to good luck, is what you are. You're a lucky addict.
Let me tell you something. The host of America's Worst Driver isn't on the Tiger Woods groupie level as yet.
Right.
But if I ever run into that problem, Jay, I will be back on your show and say, Jay, I have a problem.
Well, sex addiction is if
I'm getting roadhead every episode.
Yeah.
I
sit in front of the computer.
2 segments. 4 hours.
Jay, I got a monster of a problem.
I tell you, I don't know. Who are these people who are like the people trying to crucify Tiger? It's like, how are you living?
Well, it's like in government. You always hear these guys bitching about something, and then you find out they got a kiddie dungeon down there.
But the government, these guys, you want to talk about some freaks.
Yeah.
This shit going on in Congress is unreal. Yeah, okay, so I dangled my balls on his eyes. We're old friends from the Navy. That's just
the guy that said he had tickle fights. Who was that guy?
We're saying hello. Come on.
He said he had tickle fights when he was at the Naval Academy.
Yeah. Yeah, so my mistress is pregnant while my wife is sick. It happens.
Right.
It happens.
So I'm married to the only woman.
Pressure.
I'm married to the only woman who has cancer that everyone still hates. Yeah. So what?
She really is the only woman who's dying of cancer that somehow Elizabeth Edwards has somehow made a list of people that don't like a woman dying of cancer. But it's a first in my life.
Here's the one that's even better. Why didn't he do like Newt Gingrich and just go to the hospital when your wife's dying? Like, all right, well, see ya.
Yeah.
See ya. Gotta go.
No, I think he had his wife sign the divorce papers. I think
in her hospital bed.
Right.
So these are the guys. You notice no politicians are talking about Tiger. They're sitting back like, phew, let Tiger take the heat for a minute.
Well, he, Newt Gingrich, we've interviewed him. He's a complete pompous, know-it-all prick. Forget what his politics are.
Yeah.
He's a complete, he is so above the fray. And they always have an answer, but the best guy is this guy from Utah who is almost 60 years old, and 30 years ago, he took a hot tub with a naked 15-year-old girl.
Right.
And I'm looking at it going, 30 years ago, and no sex, and the woman is 40 and lives in Massachusetts. This guy's in Utah, and she said she had to do it to set the record straight. What record?
Whose record?
What are you doing?
That?
Well, because after the 6 15-year-old boys, you needed a 15-year-old girl.
But he really hadn't done anything. The guy is just, now we may disagree with his politics. It's like, if I went home, I would say to my wife, look, if you're with a guy when you're a little kid or whatever, don't tell anybody, now her kids are going to know that their mother was naked at 15, and where do you go? Where does the husband go with that information?
Yeah.
Now?
Well, that's where we're living now, right? So.
Have you ever dated a big celebrity? Is there a woman you've gone out with?
No, I wish I had. I actually have a friend who's used to manage a comedy club in Boston, and she was always on me. She's like, you need to date a famous chick. You need to go out with
does
somebody
help your career.
who boosts your career. And she said that I should have just hung around the rehab and picked up Whitney Houston.
Yeah,
You
or
know,
Mackenzie Phillips.
Just catch Whitney falling out of rehab and say, hey, let's walk a red carpet. But no, I've never gone out with a famous chick. It's not easy. You know what I mean?
I was talking earlier about Sandra Bullock, that this is a gorgeous, nice woman, but she works 24 hours a day and she's a tough businesswoman. It's not like she was home, cooking dinner and,
right. Well, you don't get
pleasing
much,
her man.
You don't get much access to someone like Sandra Bullock. And then you have to, because I'm a comic and I'm not that famous yet, but you watch Sunday nights at
America's
10,
Worst Driver, you're on your way.
You damn betcha. But
yeah.
But my ego couldn't handle being seen as oh, that's Halle Berry's boyfriend. Even though I would, it'd be great to be if I were introduced that way, I'd be like, nah, I can't handle this because I want to get my own shit. You have to be able to handle that.
Right. You got to be
the thing about
that wouldn't bother me in the least.
Jesse James and Sandra Bullock, they're kind of equal in different worlds. Jesse's top of his world in
the
fame.
tattoo world,
and the bikes and the
tattoo
whole
/
Discovery
Monster Garage
right,
world.
the whole Discovery Channel empire he built. So so that's one thing. But
Can I be honest? The woman that he's with, what's her nickname? Bombshell.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure she's a lovely woman and everything else,
Not
but
really.
she's got that really white skin, and she looks, and she doesn't have this disease, but she looks like a hepatitis victim to me. And she had the needles in her and the whole thing. I wouldn't put my penis within a motorcycle length of her, and yet he's pounding on her, and then he's got Sandra Bullock. He's got the world by the balls. What's odd is, did he not think that he was going to get turned in? That's the weird thing.
He had Jenna Jameson before Sandra Bullock, so that just means that he's got so much game he can work both worlds. I respect him more. I'm like, you know what kind of game you have to come from a porn star and then hit Sandra Bullock.
But it wasn't Jenna Jameson, was it? It's another porn
No,
star.
it was Janine Lindemuller.
No,
and they're fighting with her.
He wasn't married to her, but he hooked up with Jenna Jameson. They were a couple for a while.
He is fighting with the Janine woman over the custody of the baby, and Sandra Bullock. Have they had their own kid? I think she postponed having a child with him so that she could fight for custody of his children.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So there's a triple disappointment here, and I have to tell you something. I'm not on his side at all in this one because he's got a great woman who is trying to help out some other woman's children who
She doesn't even need to be helping any of this, anything. Forget the kids. She doesn't even
So
have to
now
be with
she's
this
stuck
idiot.
with somebody else's kids who she's helping out, and the husband is screwing around, so she's also got to be deciding whether she's going to have a relationship with these kids. It'll screw them up even more. Isn't there something, hasn't the mother been in rehab or gone to jail or some craziness?
Well, of course.
I don't know that to be true.
No,
I have no idea.
the thing about this is, and I can understand what you're saying, but my view on this is I don't know Sandra Bullock. I don't know what their relationship is, and I just have a hard time believing any of the Hollywood relationship stuff. You know what I mean? Like what's real?
Yeah, you're a guy.
What
You're not gonna
Sandra Bullock?
guy.
Sandra Bullock's got a great image, but Halle Berry was a perfect example. Like you look at Halle Berry.
I never heard one thing nice about Halle Berry ever.
But you'd look at her and you'd be like, this is the dream.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Man.
But every guy she's been with has screwed around on her, which at some point you got to think wait, how crazy is this chick to be Halle
She's
Berry?
like an
And you're
iced mocha
I gotta
latte.
Get away from this.
Look at Jennifer Aniston.
An iced mocha latte. She's so, you want to just put a straw in that and just suck it till it goes.
There you go.
Oh my God. And I've heard, she stood next to my son in a movie for 10 minutes, and my son said in those 10 minutes, she was an awful bitch. In
Really?
10 minutes. You know the movie about the famous singing group from the 50s? It was really a good movie, but I forget the name of the group.
About the Five Heartbeats? That one?
Yeah, like a doo-wop group
Yeah,
or whatever.
the Five Heartbeats. That was
My
Robert
son's a
Townsend's
musician, and he played the drums in it or something as part of one of the bands. And he said he stood next to her and said she was just ice cold, unfriendly, and they're standing around a set for like 3 or 4 hours. And he said I got a really like ice cold vibe from her. It's weird to me. Weird. It's odd. Now, what about, have you watched any movies with Kate Winslet? Have you watched Little Children, Alonzo?
No. I know who
she
is.
screws
I've
a
seen
guy
her.
in this thing. I mean, it is graphic. And then what about Revolutionary Road with Leonardo?
Yeah, seen that.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her husband directs her in these movies, Sam Mendes, right? And every time I see them, I go, God, what must he be thinking? And man, I wonder if she's like this in bed. You know, they're divorced now. They're done.
Yeah. Well, I think they separate. I know, like, women in the adult industry say that they're not even there when it's going on. Like, they completely
They check out.
separate. Yeah. So I think
I don't believe that. For
and
one second.
I think actors and actresses, but also, like, actors are weird anyway. You know what I mean? Actors,
That's true.
Actors are weird, and I think they have some way of separating it. Like, this isn't what's going. You know what I mean? It's just a weird thing. I don't know. I don't know.
How do you direct your wife and a guy's licking her nipples and everything? How do you do that? And she's humping the guy and kissing him, and oh my God.
Well,
Jesus.
Honey,
director.
You look great. Could you act like you're a little more into it?
Take
you know
two.
What? Why don't we do a little ass licking in case Europe allows it?
That's right.
Alonzo, thank you. Alonzo
Jay,
Bowden.
thank you, guys.
The greatest show on the Travel Channel is, of course, America's Worst Driver. When you come back, we will talk about your days as a jet mechanic for Lockheed and the Stealth Bomber.
All right, cool. Thanks for having me on. You guys have a great morning.
Anytime. Alonzo, thank you very much.
Bye.
Alonzo Bowden. It's the Jay Thomas Show with Shuli, and Madison is pregnant, so she's
see you next
itching
time
and
on the
bleeding,
show.
and she's not here. Stay where you are.
Your name is Jay Thomas.
Jay Thomas.
Howard 101.
To put the art into fart with the classical selection.
There it is.
Sylvia, I believe.
God, that is just
pure talent.
You know what? This is a funnier idea than it is right. I can almost smell them, and I'm 9,000 miles away. Mr. Methane, his DVD, the farting DVD, Mr. Methane lets it rip. Go to MrMethane.com. You know him from Howard's show and from America, or Britain's Got Talent, I guess. Mr. Methane, welcome to my show. It's a pleasure. A pleasure to meet you. How are you?
Good morning, Jay. I'm fine, thank you. The weather's a bit overcast, but, you know, other than that, I'm feeling good in myself.
You know, I am a little different of an interviewer. I like to go back to the genesis of people's fame and talent, and this is amazing to me that you can just call upon Ass Gas anytime you want to play songs and stuff. When you were a child, I mean, how old were you when you found out you had it?
I was about 15, and I was practicing yoga. I had a sister who used to do yoga, so I practiced a few of the moves, and I noticed in the full lotus position I was suddenly able to breathe fore and aft, and I sort of, went to school the next day and became a pumping prodigy in the lunch hour.
You could breathe fore and aft. You figured out how to suck air in through your rectum.
That's right, and at the time, this is in the dark ages when there wasn't the internet to give you all these weird and wonderful ideas. We sort of worked it out, I worked it out myself, and went to the school the next day and said, look, you're not going to believe this, but I can actually break wind on command. And so we set up a little show in the squash courts because we thought the acoustics would be good. And, we got everybody on the balcony, the viewing gallery above, and I sort of took stage in centre court and started to blast them out. And, it was a good little, it raised a little bit of extra pocket money, actually, because people would actually pay to see a little show. And in those days, there wasn't any tunes, any musical accompaniment. We were just schoolboys, so it was just how many can you do and how long can you do one? You know, the usual schoolboy sort of things. And really, that was it. That was the beginning. And you know, I couldn't keep it in me. You know, I couldn't keep it in my trousers anymore. I couldn't. You know, the secret was out.
The talent was just bursting out of you.
It was bursting. And you know, but I didn't initially when I left school. You know, I worked on the railroads for about nearly 10 years. And became a locomotive engineer, and you know, I was the one who was always blowing the horn. But the thing is, you know, I just couldn't keep this. One day we were on in a classroom training a locomotive and doing all the technical side of this locomotive, and you know, it just got a bit dry. You know, I suddenly thought I'd maybe have more fun when I was cleaning the oven, and I sort of said, hey, look, you know, we need to let a bit of light into the group. So I said, this is what I can do, and that was the end of it then. Everywhere I went on the British Railways network, people would say, hey, you the guy from such a place? Yeah, you're the guy that can break wind. Yeah, that's me. And you'd have to give, in the restrooms all over the country, you'd have to give a quick demonstration for the troops, so to speak, you know. And that was it, really. I couldn't, you know, before I knew it, the manager said to me, look, you can probably make more money breaking wind than you can driving trains, so I think you need to go and discover a career in show business. So I just had to do the travel, really. I had to part company with the railroads, and goodness me, that's probably 22 or 23 years ago.
Now, were you married before you discovered this talent, Mr. Methane?
No, it was 15.
I wasn't married before.
Well, okay, but are you married now, and how?
Still not married afterwards either.
That's my question. Dating's got to be tough, right?
Well, I don't know as it is if you meet the girls through the farting. You know, if they know what you do beforehand.
Yeah.
You mean they know you're a controlled anal voice actor?
That's it. That's the word I'm looking for.
Maybe she's just out for your methane. You know
By the way, it really is one of the best success stories I've ever heard, and you're a wonderful speaker. I mean, I really, you know, didn't listen to you when you were on, when Howard used to interview you and stuff. But what's amazing is that you're so smart about it, so professorial, and it's just something that happened. Mr. Methane, by the way, .com, and of course his DVD, his farting video, Mr. Methane Lets It Rip. But also at the same time, it's almost like being two-headed in the circus, or a bearded woman or something like that. I mean, it's, was there a time when you said, I'm sorry that God ever gave me this talent?
Well, there was this time when I left school, when I was a young 16, 17, I stayed on for a few years. I was probably 17 when I left school. And I thought, no, I need to pursue a serious career, because that's what I've been told in school. So I did feel, like you say, like the two-headed man, that maybe this was something I didn't want to show the world. And as time goes, you know, as you become older and you become more comfortable with yourself, you know, and you know, you start to philosophize and think, well, you know, even the Queen of England breaks wind. What the hell is it? It's only parping. It's actually the world's. There was a show on the BBC the other night by the old Director General who used to run the BBC, and he made a show called The World's Oldest Joke, and he went back through history to look at you can watch it on the iPlayer, and he went back into history, and he discovered that the world's oldest joke was actually the fart joke, and it stood the test of time throughout the ages. And you've just got to be comfortable.
Was that prime time on the BBC? The BBC's crazy. That ran like at 8 o'clock at night. That was a normal.
I think it did. It was on 4. You know, they have like more channels now, so it was on BBC 4. So you know, you've got 1's the main, 2's the secondary, 3 and 4. But actually, 3 and 4 actually have better programs than 1 nowadays. More interesting footage, more interesting programs going on. So It was prime time. It was probably about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, you know.
Right.
And this is the guy who used to run the BBC.
Mr. Belch is next.
Yeah, sorry.
Now, so the farts, the oldest joke, and you know, I don't know. I mean, do you make a comfortable living? Because you're in England, and Howard found out about you over here. But do you travel through Europe, or have you been to China?
Have you played for any dignitaries around the world?
I'd like to go to China. I mean, I've done things for people who like you to sign a non-disclosure document. Let's put it like that. You know.
So you perform for the royal family, is what you're saying?
I could neither confirm nor deny those rumours. You know, this is the thing. This is the sad thing about it. It's something we all do, and yet it's something that, because of social convention, people higher up, right at the top of the food chain, feel they need to hide this love of something so basic from the masses, because the masses will look at them and say, "Oh, you're just like us. You're a beast of the field," you know, and not somebody we should put on a pedestal. It's this whole social engineering thing that goes on.
You've really thought about this. This is really, I mean, I have to tell you, it's the sound and then the smell that I worry about. Do your farts smell, or is it just it smells like the air you sucked in?
Not normally, because of the way I do it. It used to smell quite odorless, really. After the first few salvos, you know, it sort of freshened up a little bit. But I've noticed, you know, as I've increased with age, obviously, because I've been farting around for a long time now, and I'm very soon I'll actually be 47. So.
You're an old fart, man.
Well, doesn't your sphincter as you age gets a little looser? You know, because I don't know why, but every time you're around your grandmother in the kitchen and she's getting tea or coffee, she farts.
Yeah,
I don't know why that is.
Medically, my grandmother used to tell me her grippers were shot. So.
That's exactly
Do you
right.
keep it tuned with colonics and all that kind of stuff?
I don't do colonics or anything. I find that because I exercise the sphincter muscle, it helps to keep it, keep it in good shape.
When you say you exercise it, you mean when you're performing, or when you're not performing, you have an exercise regimen for the sphincter?
When I'm not performing and when I'm performing, obviously I have to practice. I do a lot of, as you get older, people don't realise this. I mean, I'm going, in July, I'm going to the World Farting Championships in Finland.
Only Finland would hold that, by the way.
But I'm not going, people say, "Oh, win it for England."
For that week, it's called Fartland.
I'm sorry. People come up to you and say, "Win it for England?"
Yeah. But
wait a
what
minute.
they don't realise is that at 47, you know, if I was a sportsman, like, let's think someone like O.J. Simpson or somebody, you know.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have gone there.
He may be old. He could still kill people, though. Mr.
I don't know if he's a murderer over here. Maybe, like Dennis Rodman, the big basketball player.
Well, look at George Foreman. George Foreman went back into boxing at 40.
What about, how old is Beckham? How old is he now?
He's got to be 40.
I feel like with farting, it only gets better with age.
He's mid-30s, I think. But
MrMethane.com. Let's sell some of these DVD farting video. The
Are there groupies,
performing
Mr. Methane?
Flautalist. Mr. Methane, let's rip. Yeah.
There are occasional groupies, yeah, definitely.
Why do I picture most of them to be heavy set? Is that accurate?
No, it's not. You know, actually the brainy girls like this. You
really?
know, the intellectual psychology students, you know?
Yeah, because they want to know what the fuck's wrong with you.
Exactly, you know? But, it's only the way you look at the world at the end of the day, you know, and the way we're brought up.
Do you put baby powder on your ass and then launch so people can see the fart?
Well, yeah, I do more than that. I do the baby powder. I blow out the candles on the cake and I fart the dart into the balloon.
Fart a dart into the balloon.
Which is a crowd pleaser. That involves a big reveal at the end of the show, because I have to strategically lift my trousers, my shorts up, and insert the pea shooter. And obviously count down from 5, and the balloon is about maybe 4 foot in diameter, and it's attached to a helmet on somebody's head. It's a crowd pleaser. It really is.
I don't think
a
there's
crowd
anyone
pleaser.
in this room that's not trying to suck air into their asshole. Right
You
now.
know, when you're taught to cry as an actor, sometimes if you can't do it emotionally, they tell you to keep your eyes open and imagine sucking air in through your eyes.
First one to fart wins.
That sounds crazy. The only guy that I knew that could suck air in, we were driving to a Giants game once, and we were leaving Manhattan, and we were going through the tunnel, and the crowd, we were going over there to New Jersey, and so one of the guys in the back we knew from college forever, and he said, I can fart 100 times in a row. And we all start laughing and shit in the car, and we put money up, like $10 or $20 a piece. And he lifted his legs in the air, and he laid out 100 farts, like pop, 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 like that. And you know what? He said when it was all over that he felt as though he drew air in and then he blew it out, and he's been doing it since he was a kid. Now, is that, you think, something that's just in a certain few people's DNA?
I'm not sure, because I try and teach people, and you've either got it or you haven't, so it could be. I did once go and see a specialist, a bowel specialist, and he with the aid of diagrams, explained how it was done. But whether some people are born, some people can twitch their ears like a rabbit, and others can't. It's maybe something in us all that we've forgotten and we need to bring out again, or it could be that just like you say, genetically, a few of us, a particular tribe, maybe all the people who can do, maybe I'm related to your friend distantly, maybe he's a fifth cousin,
What a talent. What
Mr. Methane, do your ass groupies, do they, after a show, do they ask you to fart on them, or, give them a Dutch oven or something?
Funnily enough, usually I'm a bit pooped out after the show,
He's pooped out after the show.
And I'm too much of a gentleman to do anything like that, I'd rather indulge in you need, when you come off stage, you need a bit of relaxation, and it's not more farting. You need to just sort of take a break from the whole farting regime and just chill,
So these are all dry farts, right? They're not sharts exactly?
They're not, what farts? Sorry, I missed that.
Sharts?
Sharts?
Sharts. You mean a discharge? There's not a discharge in there as well.
Have you ever had one, Mr. Methane?
I did once go all the way, yeah.
Now, when you get the flu, when you get sick like the rest of us, actually in some areas, like soon you're going to be getting your what do you call it, your colonoscopy. You're getting to that age, right?
Yes.
Well, is it easier for you to clean your bowels than most?
I think yes it is, and I do use a technique to bring on a shart, if you like, but I wouldn't actually do that. The time that it happens in a show, I think if I have 3 sharts in a row during a show, it's time to hang the shorts up.
I see. Time to say it's over.
Time to say goodbye.
Mr. Methane.
Wait, they're all asking. Go ahead.
Is there any way you could put the phone to your ass and give us a few blasts this morning?
It's just midday here, so I've just had a rather large midday meal, which sometimes interrupts the ability to do this, but...
With all due respect, I don't care if you shit blood. I want to hear you fart over the phone. Let's do it.
Mr. Methane is in England right now. Go to Mr. Methane, like methane.com. And, of course, his new his farting DVD, Mr. Methane Lets It Rip. We'll play some of that music later. But now this is a live, on the air, perhaps even something will fly out of him, performance. Go ahead.
Okay, well, what's happened now is I've got the big sheepskin rug in front of the fire to cushion my spine. I'm going to adopt the farting position and splay the buttocks. Excuse me. I'll just have to... That's it. And we go there. Okay. I'm just gonna, I might disappear. That's because I put the microphone downstairs. Just a minute.
Oh my God.
That was
okay.
Oh my eye!
Wow! Hey, I'm ready. I'm going to perform for. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
I got one more eye.
Phil Spector didn't like this. He said that we'd actually destroyed his music. Well, I sang you can see this on YouTube. I sing a duet of the Do Ron Ron with an English comedian called Frank Skinner, and this was banned from the BBC. Today Frank isn't here, so I'm going to sing and fart and move the phone between the two regions. Here we go. I met him on a Monday and my heart stood still. Somebody told me that his name was Bill.
You run, run.
Oh, yes. My heart stood still. Yes. His name was Bill. And when he walked me home, I run, 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 I run.
Sounds like it hurts a little bit.
Unbelievable.
It hurts me that I can't do that.
Mr. Methane, just incredible. The story of your life and everything else. I mean, I wish you would write the film, because I think it could be really funny in a movie to see a kid that grows up to.
I'm working on the book, and as I get older, because we were going on about sportsmen earlier, as you reach 47, like Muhammad Ali and people like this,
you always pick people who are either in prison for killing or someone who doesn't know, which end is up. You've picked two people that are out of it, kind of.
Well, what I'm saying is, you go beyond competitive, and when you move on, you have to broaden your revenue base. So I'm moving more.
But you mentioned a murderer and a Parkinson's victim when you say old age.
These are all casualties that have been at the top of the game, really. That's
right. Do you worry that one day you'll have to have a cork in your ass to keep from your mud sliding out unintentionally?
I think if I keep this sphincter muscle nice and strong with a good grip, like a work vice, I should have less trouble than most people who don't exercise the said same area, if that makes sense.
Cool, man. Well, Mr. Methane, thank you very much. Anytime you want to promote something, yes, go ahead.
I have a theory that if, for example, if we had Mr. Methane working for the news, let's say, and, horrible stories have to be read, but if he's farting in the background, I think that it's a lot less horrible.
You'll lighten it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Lighten the load.
I mean, one of these. Muhammad Ali and O.J. Simpson are dead, and then some farting would come out.
Exactly. And I forgot, even Phil, we've just done a Phil Spector song, and even Phil's inside for killing somebody, isn't he?
Right, I know.
You have the wall of sound?
Yeah.
That's right.
I've got my own wall of sound,
You ever think of having a belcher open up for you?
I actually do. There is the Guinness Book World Record holding belcher is in Englishman, and I actually do duets with him.
Wow!
You can see me if you look on it. He's called the Burper King, and if you put Mr. Methane and Burper King into YouTube, you'll see a Japanese TV show where at the end of the clip we actually sing a duet of
What song do you guys sing? What song do you guys do?
The Blue Danube. You know, dude. So he go and then I have a go.
I was thinking Islands in the Stream, but...
Now, in the pornos, they have women that are, squirters and all that, but they also have women that can...
They fart.
They do, vaginal farts. Have you ever performed with
queef?
I haven't. My dad's told me about these people, but I'm a very innocent, I've led a very sheltered
His
life.
dad's told him about these people. Now, Joe of New Jersey, what is your question for Mr. Methane, who has been kind enough to perform live for us? And please, for anyone out there, this is you buy this now and give it for the holidays. Is there a Jewish holiday coming up, Shuli? Because Jews, there's something about gastroenteritis and stuff. Jews talk about their food, their farting all the time.
It's Lactose Intolerant Day if you're a Jew, and what goes better with lactose intolerance than gas?
But is there a holiday coming up?
I'm sure there is. There's one.
There's Easter. We've got Easter. Easter. That's a
that's right. That Passover, Easter. Mr. Methane lets it rip. It's out right now. It's his DVD on farting. Yeah, Joe of New Jersey, go ahead. What's your question?
Kids, don't try this at home.
Yeah. First, I wanted to find out if he ever had any kind of injuries back there, like any tears of the sphincter or hemorrhoids or anything.
Roids,
Does he have any
you mean like a sports injury?
Oh, yeah, like, he pulled his hammy, he pulled the,
He's an athlete at the end of the day.
Yeah, Mr. Methane, anything down there, any rips or I guess you could get what do you call a hernia. You get a hernia, couldn't you?
No, I've actually no hernias, but I have had a hemorrhoid through straining too hard.
Right.
And I had to have an injection to make that go away.
Oh my! Right into the hemorrhoid. They shoot it into the hemorrhoid.
They do, yes, and it dries up because hemorrhoid is it's like a varicose vein, if you like. It's an expanded vein, so it shrivels the hemorrhoid up.
Ready? Well, it's not all peaches and cream. Thank you, Joe, very much. Joe in New Jersey. It's not all, when you hear a showbiz story, there's always sadness involved. There's always, now have you been discriminated against, do you think? I mean, and do you wish, sometimes, I know this is what you're doing for life, but do you wish you'd lived a less noticeable life?
Sometimes you could make. Actually, no, I've never regretted being Mr. Methane. Never actually. There's times when I feel that people prejudge Mr. Methane on the farting before they've actually seen Mr. Methane in action.
I prejudged you. I did not think I would enjoy talking to you. I was sorry. I wasn't aware that Howard had you on before, but it's okay. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to recycle somebody from 100 years ago or whatever. And I want to apologize to you, even though I didn't say this earlier. It's been a fascinating interview, and I like the way you scientifically, emotionally, and physically brought us through this amazing talent that you have.
Thank you very much, because I am actually moving I'm moving in that direction of going into more after dinner speaking, where it's more about the life story of Mr. Methane and and it's fart light, if you like. There's one or two crowd pleasers in there, but I think there's a story to tell that people would find as interesting as the actual, rather than 30 minutes of stupid anal stunts,
right.
Fill it in with a bit of background, give it some history and some depth and some meaning.
Well, I would go back to the No. Now, here's the other thing. I would think that mostly male audiences are interested in this speech. I mean, the only reason Christina's interested in it, and all the women at Sirius XM, which is this, horrifying group of individuals that we put together for this, it really is. It's almost like prisoners in outer space. And the women have been turned into animals, here by the minute stuff. But most women are not interested in hearing farts or about them. Would you say it's 90% men, 10% women?
I can agree with that. I can totally agree with that. That it's mostly for a male audience. Though I do have ladies write to me on Facebook. If you look at the comments on the Mr. Methane Facebook page, there are ladies who write in and offer their opinions, and they're usually fart enthusiasts. They're not saying you're a disgusting man, go away. They're actually egging me on,
The accent helps.
And
yes, it does.
Maybe. But I don't know. Predominantly male, I would say 85% male and possibly 15% female, yes.
Great.
Definitely.
Mr. Methane. MrMethane.com, his new DVD is out. Thanks very much, Mr. Methane.
No, it's fine, Jay. Thanks for giving me the opening to bring a little sunshine into people's lives,
Well, you did. Do you ever get indigestion or acid reflux? Do you ever get any of those?
I do. I mean, that was a tough to do, Ron, then, because I'd literally just had something to eat about 20, 30 minutes ago, so it's difficult to control.
Well, it's almost like you swallowed the orchestra, and it, got itself together, and then it played for you.
It did, but if you can imagine imagine going to the gym, having a big meal, and then going to the gym and doing a little bit of weightlifting. You know that bloated feeling that you feel and that out of breath feeling? It's the same for a flatulence. That's why generally before a show I never eat at least maybe 4 or 5 hours before a show. So I'm nice and empty and lean and ready to go.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I think 30 minutes of fart talk is enough for us, Mr. Methane. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks. And remember, if you're thinking of trying this at home, it's always best in a well-ventilated room and always wipe thoroughly.
Great.
For the wise.
Well, unbelievable.
Words to live by.
Stay where you are.
This is Sean.
Jay Thomas.
The weirdest and the wildest.
Check 1, 2. Testing.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're listening to the Jay Thomas Show.
it's obscene. It's wrong.
I like it. This is what it sounds like.
Howard 101. Yes.
Don't know why.
Yeah.
Good morning.
There's no sun up in the sky. Stormy weather.
That's the official music for Ira the Weatherman.
I feel like you haven't played that in a while.
We haven't played it in a while.
And there's a reason.
Let's go to Ben of San Jose, California. Ben, welcome to the Jay Thomas Show. Before you ask
Good morning,
your question,
Ben.
Good morning.
Shalom.
What is the weather in San Jose, California for Ben, Ira the Weatherman?
It's going to be around 77 degrees today.
Wow.
In the beautiful sky.
There you go, Ben. There you go.
Go fishing.
Go fishing,
any
Ben.
place.
Go anywhere.
Any place, yeah.
Ben, what did you call us about? Go.
Hey, I was going to say, before I asked about my rape Facebook page, I was going to ask, what do you think Rule 46 of the Taliban? I think it reads, one shall not wear hair like Todd Christensen.
Here we go.
Well, now you're talking about people I know. The tight end, Todd Christensen, who is a massive asshole. The former tight end and the big Mormon guy who is a sometime announcer. What a huge asshole. Thank you very much.
Hey, wait a minute. Do you think you know how they changed Rachel Madden? You remember how she used to look before they dolled her up?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the same people that worked on Todd Christensen's move from football to the booth. Remember how he changed? His face became more squared up?
That's true. He became a blockhead all of a sudden.
Yeah,
he looks like those people when they're getting, like the guys and the women that take steroids in the gyms.
Exactly.
And they get that squared off face, you know.
He's the only guy that ever had a mustache that had an S-curl in it, dude. It was sick.
Right. Yeah.
Later, guys.
See you,
all right.
buddy.
Thanks a lot, Ben. Thank you very much. Now, Ira the Weatherman, you have had a something.
Yes, I had a colonoscopy, Jay.
And I'm saying this for everyone listening.
He's into that.
Monday. Monday I had.
You had it on Monday.
Yes.
And now, here's the crazy. If you're over, I guess, 45 or 50 years old.
If you're over 45, 50 years old, you must take it.
Now, the worst part of it is the night.
Whether you like it or not.
No, you will never like it, no. The worst part of it is the night before.
The night before, I had to drink the whole gallon, of 4 ounces of the Tri-Light.
Right, well, a gallon is 16 ounces.
And do you poop before the colonoscopy?
Well, let's hope so.
You do it before the colonoscopy.
So the thing that you drink undoubtedly makes you crap.
All night long.
All night you're pooping.
Yes.
Now, Ira, did they tell you?
Can I get some of these shakes just for my own?
Did they tell you?
Unless you want a colonoscopy.
I just want to take like 17 dumps.
17 dumps?
Yeah.
Go to your GYN doctor.
Oh.
GYN. Now, Ira, did they tell you to stay near the toilet the night before?
Yeah, I stayed near the toilet the night before.
Did you sleep on the toilet?
Did you have any accidents?
No, I did not.
Wow, that's unbelievable. And then the
3
next day,
years ago, I had a polyp.
Oh.
Yes.
What'd you name
this
it?
time, it was very, very good. I did not
clean bill of health.
One polyp.
Right.
Did you look at the video of your butthole? Did you look at the video?
No, I did not.
Oh, you should have brought it in. We would have posted it on the
It's all over
Thomas
MTV too, man.
So what's the temperature in your colon, Ira?
temperature in my colon was 100 degrees.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. All
Little
right.
hot.
Colon.
Little hot back there.
Boy, here's a crazy thing. We've been on for almost 3 hours now, and a guy, Chris of Orlando, called us almost 3 hours ago and to ask this question. And I don't know why you hang on for 3 hours.
Because it's an important question, obviously.
Chris of Orlando, what is your question that you've been holding on for 3 hours? What is it?
Well, first of all, congratulations, Julie, on the baby.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. We actually had our first appointment the other day and saw the.
Can I break in here? What was the question?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, the question was, have you ever been mistaken for Anthony Bourdain, the chef?
No, I haven't. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the call.
It was worth 3 hours. So as I was saying,
Shirley, since you have a new
Hey, Shirley, when we set the bid up, because they ask about, that's like if you ask Rodney about Bachelor Man.
Oh, like I ruined it. Like I ruined it. It was
You
a
did ruin
wanted
it.
it to be in and out. We wanted it to be in and out. Bada bing, bada boom.
Listen, why don't you two go produce some reality shows, then leave your wives and grow a small cock, okay? Leave me alone.
We wanted it to be, what's the question? No, I don't.
Keep sticking up for Aaron Andrews.
Let's go to our
Jesus,
we're going to play it again, by the way. I want to end the show with that. Let's go to Jeff, our roving reporter. Jeff.
Oh, Jeff.
Jeff Furlot, come on in, boy.
Jeff Furlot reporting live for the Gumbo Radio Network from Washington, D.C.
Right.
Hi, Jeff. Jeff, it's
Hi,
around,
Ira. How are you?
It's around 100 degrees in Washington.
It really is.
Is Washington in your colon right now?
Yeah, your ass and Washington are the same.
All right, go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Jay. The Sudsy Summit that took place at the White House last night took a turn for the worst. Well, a couple of beers ended up turning into a game of quarters.
Uh-oh.
The drunken debauchery went on through the night, and it ended up with people doing body shots off of Michelle Obama's ass. Apparently, the meeting was so successful that President Obama will be inviting Israel's prime minister and Mahmoud Ahmadinejad over to drink the blood of the infidel. With this report from Washington, D.C., back to you in the studio, Jay.
All right, thank you very
tell our
much.
reporter that it's infidel?
Yeah, infidel.
I don't know.
Infidel.
Ben of Illinois. Yes, Ben, the Jay Thomas Show with Shirley and Madison, Ira the Weatherman, Garrett Andritz, and Sean Kelly.
Morning,
Yes, go
Ben.
on. Yellow Ben.
Good morning, Ira.
Illinois, Ira. What's the temperature in Illinois? What's going on?
84 degrees in Illinois.
Wow, 84 degrees in Illinois.
6
Any
degrees.
rain or thunder,
No
lightning?
rain whatsoever.
Ben, you got a great day ahead of you. Go ahead, Ben of Illinois.
Yeah, I had a colonoscopy back when I was like 30. And they
Bragger.
never made me drink that, that gallon of that pooping juice. If you really want to go, you just got to go to your pharmacy and get your Fleet soda. It's like ginger, and you mix it like 4 ounces. That's 4 ounces like white soda. Guaranteed within an hour, you're gonna shit your brains out.
Okay.
You mean they didn't give you some prescription thing to drink?
No, you go into your local Kmart or Walgreens or whatever, your local pharmacy, and you're going to...
Who did it for you, an eye doctor? I mean, because they usually give you a prescription, some juice that they have prepared at some pharmacy. You don't just go in and take your own dump. No?
No, this is... This is, I said that, what is it, about a gallon's worth?
Hey, you know what? I had an HMO once, and they told me, just go to Taco Bell before you do it. And no sweat after that. All right.
Jay,
yes, Ira.
Can I tell you one thing?
Sure, go
ahead. If
ahead.
I didn't have health insurance,
yes,
that Tri-Light would have been $35. I paid $5.
Wow, you look at that, $5, and you got to shit all night long. What a deal!
Right.
Thank you, Ben of Illinois.
Long.
How long is the how long is the Aaron Adams 911 call, and how long do we have?
It's
Aaron
too long.
Andrews.
What,
Come
too
on.
long? Let's just run it all the way out. Run it. This is Aaron Andrews from ESPN.
What's the address of your emergency?
Here it is.
I've been in the news recently about being in a hotel naked.
I have a perfect ass.
I have paparazzi outside my window, and I was told by law enforcement that if I did to call 911.
You want to meet with an officer man when they come out?
Enjoy this.
Yeah,
We'll see you
these guys
later.
are sitting in their car
Have a great
outside
week,
my
y'all.
house right now.
I'm going to be in Point Pleasant.
I would like to
Tonight.
tell the
I'll be in
officer to
Barcelona,
have their
Spain.
because
All right, let's
the cops
listen.
have told me to
Don't wanna
call
listen.
911 if they're
See you
outside my
later.
house.
Shut up.
What's your name?
My name
going
is
to
Erin. My
Spain.
last name is Andrews. I'm all over the news right now.
I'm not familiar. Right, all over the news.
I'm the girl that was videotaped without her knowing, without her clothes on in the hotel.
Maybe you've heard of me.
And I got two assholes sitting outside my house.
I'll send you an 8x10.
I'm so sorry.
I am too.
Wanna
Thank
sign
you.
my pussy?
We'll send someone out.
Hey, I'm a guy that happened to be on ABC Family on Friday night.
I'm in a gated community, and I don't know how they got in.
I love
Maybe
it.
a license plate.
Sitcom.
It's a handicap license plate they have.